Hello, hello, beautiful people. Welcome to the Sideline Speaks with myself, Brittany Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker. What's going on, Kate Walker and Jay?
All is well. All is well. Looking forward to a great one.
Yeah, everything's good, Britt. It's gonna be a fun show tonight.
Absolutely, absolutely. I don't know what happened prior, but I think we had slight technical difficulties. I'm gonna have to write a message on Twitter for people to go over to make sure they go over to YouTube to watch us because for some reason it's not connecting to the Twitter. But I'll let them know that in a second. But it's a lot going on. So much going on in the sports world. A lot of surprises today. A lot of funny moments. Did anybody see the Major League, the MLB Home Run Derby?
I did not. I know K Walk probably watched it though.
I did, yes. And your boy let me down, Brett, big time.
Alex Boone?
Yeah, he let me down big time. That's why I had him, Brett. Had him.
I know. I was the same way. I was like, come on, Boone, come on. But it was his first time. He actually did pretty well. I was actually shocked he got to the semifinals, but I was pretty happy about that. But there was something else that occurred. And
Don't tell me the national anthem. The national anthem.
I heard about that.
Well, Jay, you don't have to hear about it. I'm about to play it for you right
Jay,
now.
hold your ears, bro. Jay, make sure your dog's not in the room.
Let's get a little USA love up in here.
So gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there.
Best part, Gary come. Best part, Gary come.
Whoa.
They cheering because it's over.
I gotta give the crowd credit. Right. They cheered. They gave us some support.
Over,
My goodness.
I don't think I've ever heard anybody hit that free like that. That was a different free. No. I have never heard it done like that.
Jay, that free got me so bad when she broke down the free. She said free. I was like, oh, okay.
Another E on there.
Oh, okay. All right. I got you. But give credit to her. It was a moment. I know a lot of us may be going through something. She made us smile. So take that as, yes, it was not her biggest moment, but take it as she made us smile and a memory that will last forever. Go ahead, K-Walk.
Britt, you know she was drunk, right? She admitted to being drunk. Okay.
Yes,
so I didn't know if you knew that part.
I was going to say that. I said, we wish her the best. Please get healthy. I know she entered into rehab, but still, it was a moment that made us smile, made us laugh. So I hopefully she takes this and turns it into a positive and not too much of a negative. So, but yeah, that was rough.
I can't really say she's going to take it seriously because she said, I'm checking myself into rehab. I hear it's a fun place. Those were her words.
Yeah.
Maybe it was a joke for her.
I don't know, Britt. That's what I'm saying. How serious can we take her for her getting help? You know what I mean? Maybe she said that as the influence. I want to know where her camp was at and who let her, get that alleviated, knowing she had to do that. You knew that for months and months. So why would you do that? It wasn't like somebody just picked you out of the crowd and said, can you come sing the national anthem real quick?
And if you're going to sing the anthem, the mistake people make is they try to do too much. Just keep it, unless your voice is just spectacular. Don't try to do too much.
But she's a country singer, Jay. She's a professional singer.
I don't even know who she is. I heard she's won a few Grammys though, so I don't know.
Well, keep it to what you know, but no, I don't know how to pronounce your name, but is it Noski? They said U.S. I guess US it is then. I don't
Yeah.
I want that edition, but US it is.
Mhm.
They told me I should go to rehab, but I said
No,
no.
no.
All right, guys, let's get started. It's all jokes. I'm just playing. Let's get started. For those who are watching this again, thank you for checking in with us on YouTube. I know Twitter again is having some issues. But if you please, we just ask that you help us continue to grow and support this channel. Please like, share, and subscribe to our channel at The Sideline Speaks. We're also anywhere you can listen to your podcast. If you ask us a question, if you comment live, we will do our best to get to your question and comments. Greg, what's going on, Greg?
What's up? Appreciate you.
All right, let's get started. I'm sorry, I'm still thinking the national anthem in my head. But we got to get to this 49ers, K-Walk. We got to talk about your team. I know last week we said that we will ask you a question about this week. And I need Tony up in here. Hopefully he pops up sooner and later because he was looking forward to this.
Oh, yeah.
But the question was, would you prefer Debo or Brandon Aiquk? But before we get to that, news popped up. So I guess this is great timing because news came out today that 49ers wide receiver Brandon Aiquk has officially requested a trade from the San Francisco 49ers. I guess due to they couldn't negotiate on the long-term extension. K-Walk, I'm actually going to save you last or almost last. Jay, I'm going to come to you first. What are your thoughts on Brandon Ayuk's trade request?
From his standpoint, I understand it, right? Because that's what everybody wants nowadays, especially if you're a productive player. You want some security, right? Especially in the NFL when you're going into the last year of your contract. In the NFL, it's not if you get hurt, it's when. When are you going to get hurt? So I can understand. Very productive player. I saw a breakdown of his numbers. Like he's leading the NFL in a lot of different categories in terms of like the breakdown of his route running, his pass catching, long distance catches. Like he's leading the NFL in a lot of different little category breakdowns. So he wants his money. Look, I don't know. And K Walk will have a much better perspective on this than me, but I just think when you have really good players, if there's anything you can do to keep them from walking out the door, that's probably what you should do. So I get it that he wants a trade, but if I'm San Fran, I'm going to do everything I can to keep him because, yeah, obviously he's a really good player, but he also makes that offense better as a whole. And yes, they've got a bunch of other good players, but I think they're better off with him than without him. So I try to do what I can to keep him, but I understand it from his standpoint.
Yeah, I agree. I do think they're better off with him than without him. He's a fantastic player. It took me a minute to catch on to the Brandon Ayuk train, but then I started really paying attention. I was like, man, this guy gets open whenever the heck he wants. He's a beautiful route runner. To me, he's the best route runner on the team, by far, in my opinion. But you know, he got to get paid. You know, he's worked his tail off to get here. He wants to provide for his family. I thought maybe they could be somewhat close. And I guess it's just a balance thing, or just trying to weigh your I guess your thoughts. I'm not sure how to say it, but you know, whether I should stay. This is a Super Bowl contending team. I should stay here. I know I could win here potentially, but also I need to take care of my family. So it's just which one outweighs the other. In his mind, it's probably I need my money. I would like to have my money, or at least closer to my number. It may not be exactly what I want, but at least closer to my number. You know, and they had this issue. Honestly, I'm not really sure if he'll still go anywhere. I'm still not sure yet because I'm pretty much sure they had the similar issue with Debo just a couple years ago. Then he asked for a trade as well. I cannot recall. So, and training camp didn't even start. I think late summer they came to an agreement, or right before training camp they came to an agreement, something like that. And next thing you know, Debo is there to stay. So I still think there's hope. I'm still not sold that he's going to go anywhere just yet. Not until I hear something. Brandon Ayuk has been traded to such, because I just think it's a cat and mouse game. You know, it's a negotiation. Here's your number. Here's my number. Okay, we're too far apart. But if you're serious, all right, well, he's serious about getting traded. Let's come a little bit closer. Let's see what we can do. Maybe somebody else on the team is willing to restructure their contract, not necessarily take a pay cut, just restructure their deal so we could fit you in there. But I do think that the 49ers are better with Brandon Aiquk than they are without Brandon Aiquk. But K-Walk, this is your team. You follow this team. You know the ins and outs of the 49ers. What are your thoughts on the Brandon Aiquk requesting a trade?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. I mean, I really do get it. I'm really, it's a 49er fan. You're sick of hearing all the drama, so we want something to happen one way or the other. I agree with you guys. I mean, you want a Brandon Aiquk on your team. Obviously, you're better team with him than you are, without him. He's come out and pulled a Debo, if you will. He kind of, wants to get this thing done, and we understand that. The 49ers have not budged from their number, and right now, from what I'm hearing, it's like 25 million. He wants around 30 million. So I don't understand where we can't meet in the middle, somewhere right there. So they're about 5 million, 2.5 million apart, however you want to look at it. But that's what each side, that's their number, and neither one are willing to budge from it at this point. Now, the thing with Brandon Aiquk, he doesn't have any leverage, zero leverage. For one, he still has a year on his contract. Two, the 49ers can trade him, could trade him to wherever he wants. I mean, wherever they, deem fit, or whatever the best deal is for him, not necessarily to, to accommodate, his wishes if he does have a destination in mind. And two, if the 49ers, he plays through his final contract or final year of his contract, the 49ers next season can franchise him.
Right.
And if he does that, they could do it again this following season. So, right now, Brandon Aiquk has zero leverage here. I get it. He wants to get paid. I believe he should be paid. And the 49ers have a number. Again, as I stated earlier, they have a number, but they just don't want to budge off of that because they're preparing for the big, the blockbuster, if you will, and that's Brock Purdy. They know they have to pay this man upwards around $500 million is what I'm hearing right now. If he continues to play, like he did in the first 2 seasons of his career, they're talking about $500 million for Brandon Aiquk. Yeah, they restructured a couple of contracts to get under the cap, but then they extended Christian McCaffrey, rightfully so, because he arguably, he was the offensive player of the year. I mean, the MVP of that team. But there's so many different plays. All of those pieces fit in place very well. There's no offense without Debo. There's no offense without Mike McCaffrey. There's no 49er offense without Brandon Aiquk. This all fits really well. But right now, Brandon Aiquk is trying to say, listen, all right, I'm done with this. I want to be, he keeps saying that he wants to be there. His family's there. He loves it there. But I think he's just tired. He just wants to get back to playing football, and he has to stick to his guns. I get it from both sides. Now, Britt, do we want to be Debo or do we want Aiquk? I mean, I think right now you would want, you have to go with Debo. I just think the reason why you go with Debo, because if you looked at it from last season, when the 49ers went on that 3-game losing streak with Cleveland, with Minnesota, and with Cincinnati, they lost 3 in a row, and the common denominator there, or lack thereof, was Debo. As soon as Debo comes back, that offense starts to click again. And when Brandon Aiquk was out against the Giants last season, we saw that the young kid out of Michigan, Ronnie Bell, stepped in and not did the same thing, but pretty much did the same thing as Aiquk. So you asked me if I rather have Aiquk or Debo, I'd rather go Debo because there's so many different things that you can do off of that. Not to mention they drafted the young kid out of Florida, Ricky Pearsall, as well, and he's a great route runner. He has great hands. I know he's not a Brandon Aiquk. He has Brandon Aiquk traits, but he's a rookie, so you can only rely on that for so much. But that's my take on the whole situation.
So, K-Walk, I do have another question. So, if Brandon Aiquk is traded, wherever team he gets traded to, I guess we could discuss that next. Do you think the Niners go out and get another receiver, or do you think Ricky Pearsall is truly ready right now at this moment to fill in that role or that position? Because the 49ers are in contention. They are a contender. What are your thoughts on that?
No, I think they actually have to go and get a veteran receiver, someone you can bring in there, immediately. A guy down in Vegas, number 17. I think he would love to be there. He would love to be there. So yeah, if you could get, and I looked at his numbers, and his numbers fit well right now as far as as far as the contract goes. As far I'm talking about Devontae Adams, ladies and gentlemen, if you're not sure what I'm talking about. Yeah, if you could bring him in somehow, get a deal and bring him in. But yeah, to answer your question, Britt, you absolutely have to replace him with a veteran receiver, someone who can stretch the field, someone who can win one-on-one matchups, if you will, because as good as Ricky Pearsall looks right now in camp, he's actually hurt right now. They're very vague on it. It doesn't seem serious, but right now he's injured. But nonetheless, you bring a veteran there who can win those one-on-one matchups like an Aiquk, who can stretch the field as well to open up the short and the intermediate routes, things of that nature. So yeah, absolutely bring in a veteran receiver there.
Jay, you have any thoughts on the same question?
No, I mean, I agree with K Walk. I just don't know, like this late in the game, what kind of quality you're really going to get. Yeah. Like if you're trying to get a veteran, I'd be hard pressed to believe that you're going to get one of those top notch guys or somebody that can sort of match the skill set of an Aiquk. So it's going to be interesting, Britt. And also, and I don't know, K Walk, tell me if you disagree with this, but I think on some level, Shanahan and I don't want to say the 49ers as a whole, but I do think Shanahan maybe sort of has it in his mind that I'm a great coach. I'm a great offensive coordinator. I can plug somebody in that spot and still draw stuff up and we're going to be okay.
Right.
So I wouldn't be surprised if they just said, hey, next man up. This is a system. We'll plug a guy in our system and he's going to be productive. So it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, that's why they drafted. That's why Pearsall number 1 overall. Now, just keep in mind, too, ladies and gentlemen, that immediately after that report broke, as far as Brandon Aiquk requesting a trade, the 49ers immediately say, listen, we run him here. He's not going anywhere. The Patriots reached out to the 49ers to check his availability. The 49ers immediately said he is not available, just to keep that in mind as well. So throw that out there.
Yeah. And if they're going to play hardball, you're right. I mean, he has no leverage. If they're going to play hardball and say we're not trading you, he's either going to play for whatever he's going to get this year or he's going to sit out. But he really can't force their hand if they're going to be stubborn.
So here's my question to you guys. If they're stubborn, if they're going to play hardball, is that what you – do you want that potential issue within your locker room? Like you potentially have a good thing going on. It seems like everybody's healthy. Do you really want, and let's be for real, he's a important player to the team. Do you want one of your important pieces to be unsatisfied or dissatisfied in the locker room? We don't know how that's going. And Brandon Aiquk, he seems like a cool guy. He seems like he'll be professional about it. But at the same time, when it comes down to money, things can always change. When it comes down to say, hey, they don't want to pay me, neither, they also don't want to trade me, or they don't want to get anywhere close to my dollar. Do you think that organization want that issue within that locker room?
No, absolutely not. Especially when you talk about the 49ers, I mean, or any organization for that matter. No one really wants that headache. Everybody wants, everything to work out. In a perfect world, you give Brandon Aiquk what, you feel like you deserve. But you have to understand that from a 49ers standpoint, and I know Brandon Aiquk is not looking at it because he has his own family and he has his own life that he has to take care of. And then we get that. Right. But the 49ers, they have to pay all these guys, man, so they can get back to where they ended up last season, in the Super Bowl. And, you have to pay all these guys. And again, as I mentioned earlier, they have to pay Brock Purdy. That's coming up. They're preparing for that. And then there's talks about other guys, they have to extend as well. There's several guys that have taken pay cuts. George Kittle being one of them, Trent Williams being one of them. Juice, the fullback, has taken a pay cut. So, and Fred Warner as well, to make sure that they bring everyone back, as much as they possibly, as many guys as they possibly can. So no, to answer the question again, Brett, they definitely don't want a disgruntled quality player, key guy. I mean, he's, like you mentioned earlier, Britt, he's by far the best route runner on the team. Well, maybe Pearsall has something to say about that, but going forward, I mean, right now, as far as guys are coming back, he's the best route runner. He can beat one-on-one coverage without question. So you don't want a guy like that disgruntled by any stretch of the imagination.
Yeah, I just don't. I guess I'm a little too cautious in trying to not saying that you guys are doing. I personally don't want to undervalue and burn you, because when I watch the team and I watch his importance to the team, yes, Debo is a receiver turned into the running back quick. You know, we know what Debo could do. We know how he could help to open up the offense. But when I watch Brandon Ayuk on film or just watching the highlights, he's open a lot of times.
Yeah.
It's just that half the time, you know, maybe Brock Purdy doesn't see him, or he just doesn't have enough time to get him the ball. He was open a few times in the Super Bowl. And it's just showing how talented Brandon Ayuk. And this is why I said a couple years ago, I was like, well, wait a minute. I undersold on Brandon Ayuk myself. And so I started to pay attention. I'm like, man, this guy's route running abilities is really that good, because majority of the time he's open. I'm just not sure. And I've seen the talent that Ricky Parcell has coming from Florida. I'm not sure if he can do what Brandon Ayuk can do at this moment. And then being that the 49ers have not paid Brock Purdy yet, or have not paid, maybe is it just, it's just Brock Purdy, I believe.
It's Brock right now. Yeah, Brock.
I'm not sure how that's going to impact the roster once he gets paid. It might not have no impact.
The window
at
is
all.
closing. You're absolutely right. The window is closing right now for the 49ers.
Right.
There's no question about that. But when you talk about it, Brandon Ayuk, and you talked about the Super Bowl, him being open and Brock not seeing him, you know, Brock goes through a progression. There's, you know, every time a passing play is called, and Jay knows this, you know, there is, you know, you got your first option, second option, so forth and so on, and you go through your progressions. Brandon Ayuk on those certain plays may have been the third read on that if the first two weren't open. And I think that's what it ultimately is about, because if he's the first option, you know, you're getting rid of that ball as quickly as you possibly can to Brandon Ayuk, because you expect him to win, you know, those matchups each and every time. But just in defense of Brock Purdy and defense of Shanahan saying that they're not giving him the ball, they didn't give him the ball, he was wide open. He just wasn't in that progression. You know, Brock wasn't able to get to that progression, or he thought the number one or number two option was available there. I mean, because he'll be a fool not to throw to a wide open Brandon Ayuk.
Right. And the prime example is when you guys played us in the NFC Championship, and I seen him running wide open on that James Bradbury side. I was like, James Bradbury is trash. Oh, I'm sorry. Did I say
I don't know. He's trash. No, he makes a lot. Brandon Ayuk makes a lot of people look trash. I don't know if he was taking a shot at Ayuk or
not. I said Brandon Ayuk. I'm sorry. James.
No. You said Bradbury. No, you said Bradbury.
Oh, I did say Bradbury. Okay. No. I was just laughing because when Debo said it, and I was like, hey, how he trash? And I'm like, well, crap. He does have everybody running wide open on that side. He's not trash, guys. It's just, you know, I'm just saying that. All right, guys, real quick. Greg said, trade him to Cleveland. I don't even know if we want to sign Cooper. Interesting. But who would the 49ers get for him? Would it just be draft picks? Like
in this case, if they go Cleveland, that's a draft pick. Maybe you could throw Amari in there. Mari's a heck of a route runner too if he's healthy.
I would take Amari Cooper.
Amari Cooper, because you got a vet. I mean, that's a vet receiver. You know, he knows how to get open, and you know you got Ricky Pearsall and waiting in the wings as well. So yeah, I would do that, but I need a little bit more than Cooper though.
For sure. But I do think Dallas kind of undervalued Cooper, and we seen what happened after Cooper was gone until CeeDee Lamb was able to pick things up. What's going on, Band Down Sports? What's going on, Mel?
What's up, brother? What's up, brother?
All right, we got one from the one and only Princess. Hey, Princess.
What's up?
We got to get you on here soon. She said we could see this coming with Brandon Ayuk, right? Or with someone on the 49ers team. The team has a lot of players to lock up with contracts. I agree, Brittany. I like Ayuk versus Debo. Any thoughts on that, guys?
No,
I mean, I guess you could say you could see it coming. I mean, as K Walt kind of alluded to, that Brock Purdy contract just lingering, and if he plays like he did last year, you're going to have to pay him. That's just the nature of the beast,
right?
So they have to be looking forward. But I would disagree in terms of liking Ayuk versus Debo. I think the versatility that Debo provides. And not just that, but I think there's a certain attitude that he brings to the offense when he plays, the physicality and just the attitude, the energy that he provides. That's why I would, if I was choosing between the two, I feel like Debo's just adds a little bit more value, but they're both fantastic.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. Brandon Ayuk is a little bit more on the reserve side to himself type of side, but again, he's a fantastic player. But Brandon Ayuk, you're right, Jay. That attitude sometimes it gets on my daggone nerves. I'm like, sit down.
Yeah. Yeah, Aiquk is a better wide receiver, but Debo is a better football player.
Better
That's
football
what I'm
player.
gonna say.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Yak yards
That's what
after
I'm saying.
catch
Yeah, after catch, yes. Yeah.
are way
Mhm,
better than Ayuk on that one.
mhm,
All right,
yeah.
guys. Any final thoughts on K-Walk's team
No, but
before
we'll
we go
take him
to our
in
next?
Dallas if he don't want to stay in
Yeah, I got
San
no money
Fran.
for him, man. Y'all can't even pay the local vendor out there, man. Y'all trying to get rid of you.
Like, what you mean? You can't afford him,
That's
Jay.
what I'm
Jay,
saying.
I need you to get okay. We're gonna have a conversation real quick. All right. So what happened was they decided to overpay a few players, and now what happens is they running in the red. So it means you broke. You ain't
Yeah,
got no money.
they're running
You
red
got
right now. They
you
running
got
red.
3 stars you can't pay. And I already heard CD Lamb is like, I'm not coming to training camp. You got a problem on your
We'll
hands
see what
there.
happens. We'll see what happens.
All right, guys, let's move on to the next football team. This actually just came out. I think it's actually it's supposed to air tonight on Hard Knocks with the Giants. It came out that the New York Giants actually offered Saquon Barkley, running back Saquon Barkley, the same amount as the Eagles offered him, but he still decided to choose to go to Philadelphia. When I seen this on, I think I seen it on Twitter. When I seen it on Twitter, and I think Bleacher Report also had it as well. It is. That was intrigued by me because he did say that he wanted to stay. So I just want to get your thoughts on this entire situation. K-Rock, I'm gonna come to you first.
Yeah, I didn't see that. You brought that to my attention right before the show, Britt, and I did not see that. I watched the first 2 episodes of it. So, but you said it airs tonight on tonight's episode. So to hear that, to hear that, Britt, you got to wonder. Did Saquon go back to the Giants and say, "Listen, I have this offer on the table from." Wait, they offered him the same contract after. Is what happened there? I'm like,
We don't
who gave him
know.
the offer first?
We don't
Do
know
you know that?
exactly who
Oh,
offered
okay,
what first, but we
okay,
do know it was stated that the Giants offered him a 3-year, 30, I think it was $37 million contracts or $36 million contract. I
okay,
think it was about 25 guaranteed. The Eagles offered him 3 years, 36.75 with
okay.
26 million guaranteed. But with the Eagles, he can make up to like 46. So that could have been a difference as well. But it's still a
Yeah.
similar contract.
Okay, so with that being said, so they had to have known what Philly offered them. So at some point, I guess it doesn't really matter what
Mhm.
order, but at some point they knew. So I wonder if a Saquon went back to say, listen, this is what the Eagles are giving me. Can you match this or do better? I want to stay here, or maybe he didn't want to stay there. I want to hear that full. I got to hear that full story as far as why he made that choice and what could have the Giants have done to keep him here. Was it to give him more money, more guaranteed money, more years, or one more
Mhm.
year, I should say, or more annual money? I don't know. I want to hear the whole breakdown of that. But if they were not willing to move on it and they had an opportunity to do that, then shame on them. I know the last episode they were talking about they didn't really think that he would get that money on the market. They
Mhm.
didn't believe that he would get that money. So good for them, man. I mean, good for Saquon that he was able to do that, and not only to lose a Saquon Barkley, but to lose him to a division rival. That stings even more. But
Right.
yeah, it's just a shame on the Giants if they weren't willing to match it or just go $1 more, at least $1 more, give them a better deal.
Right. Yeah. For me, if it's the fact that they just offered him the similar contract and Saquon just flat out chose the Eagles,
Yeah,
to me, that's telling me a lot more about the Giants
yeah.
and how much, I don't want to say toxic
Say it,
that
say
organization
it,
can
say it.
be, but
Yeah,
troublesome, I'm going to say.
yeah.
I'm going to say troublesome that front office could potentially present. Maybe Saquon's like, you know what? You guys aren't helping me. I'm out here. Clearly, we can't even get to the playoffs without me. I'm basically the entire offense, and I'm killing my body in the process. I don't want to do this anymore. And that's very much so a possibility. And of course, Philadelphia did present him with him able to be a little bit closer to home because he is from PA. But if that's the case, that's very interesting because he did say, "I want to stay here. I want to be a Giant for the rest of my
He
life."
did say that
Now,
exactly.
he absolutely said that. So,
Hmm.
players do gets to their wits end. Saquon is very reserved. He's very quiet. He basically shows his game on the field. That's how he talks. He doesn't talk much to the media at all. But it's it could potentially be he got tired of what the organization is doing. Maybe he didn't like their plans. And like I said, he's doing everything he can to try to help this team win, but he's getting hurt in the process, and he's not sure if it's worth it. But Jay, what are your thoughts on this?
Yeah, I think it's probably pretty simple. I think he probably just wanted to go play for a better football team, to be honest. I mean, he's 27 years old. The life of a running back, we know it's short. He's got a long injury history. If he wants a chance at winning something or at least competing for something, obviously Philly's a better option than New York. So I think if the money, assuming like all things were equal or close to equal, and he chose to leave, you got to believe it's because he wants to play on a winning football team. And I think being on the Eagles is better for him too, because he's not going to have to carry the burden of being the entire offense. Right. And I think he's going to have a great year if healthy, because you're not going to be able to load up the box and say, hey, if we stop Saquon, we stop the Giants, because there's just too many other weapons on that offense. So winning opportunity, and he'll probably be a lot more productive in Philly. So that's for me, that's probably what it boiled down to.
Yeah, and it's not a big move either, as far as location wise, because they were just right up the turnpike. Yeah, and they're in Jersey, so he probably has a house in Jersey. He could probably stay there if he liked, because again, it's only a 100 and so miles apart from one another. So it makes perfect sense all around for Saquon.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting, but I'm definitely going to watch Hard Knocks tonight to see exactly why was the reasoning. He potentially could have chose the Eagles, and it could have been that little bit of extra bonus that he can earn. I think it could go up to $46 million, and maybe the Giants didn't necessarily have that in the contract, because people will not tell you that. They try to keep it one-sided. All right, guys, let's move on. Let's go to our next topic here, and I want to talk about Deion Sanders. Actually, ESPN, I have a video I'm going to bring up, and I want to get your thoughts on the video. But ESPN commentator Paul Finebaum, I don't know how to say his name. Finebaum. Okay, spoke on gave his thoughts on Deion Sanders in Colorado. All right, so the video is going to play great today, right, guys? That's what we're going to say. Yes. Here it comes.
Anyone asking whether Deion Sanders and Colorado are close to the playoffs simply doesn't understand the reality of the road. They're not going to the playoffs this year, and I'm not sure Deion Sanders is ever going to get them to the playoffs, because I don't think he has the patience to stay at Colorado long enough. There's so many misconceptions out there. Deion Sanders is the best salesman I've ever seen. I personally love the guy and for what he stands for. But the program looking out has a ridiculously inflated view of itself. I heard Shedeur Sanders, who's a fabulous quarterback, say last week, we are everyone's Super Bowl. Shedeur, you are not. You are an easy win nowadays. You got off to a phenomenal start last year, beating a couple of mediocre teams that had big names. And quite frankly, you haven't done anything since other than crash and burn. So I know that the media loves this story. We fall all over ourselves. But Colorado isn't important in college football. Deion Sanders is. He's a standalone person. He's one of the most charismatic people we've ever seen. But Colorado is nothing. They don't matter. They're irrelevant in the big picture of college football.
They are irrelevant in the big picture in college football. What are your thoughts on what I'm gonna just call him Paul? What Paul said on Coach Prime in Colorado. Jay, I'm gonna come to you first on this one.
I disagree with all of that, I think. Because number one, they are, he said they're not important in college football. I completely disagree with that. You can be, even if you don't think they're good, that doesn't mean they're not important. The TV ratings, the fan attendance, the social media interests would tell you that they're important. So I completely disagree with that. Can they make the playoff? Well, we're going to a 12-team playoff this year, right? And if you look at their schedule, I mean, stop me when I come to a team that they don't have a chance to beat. North Dakota State, Nebraska, Colorado State, Baylor, UCF, Kansas State, Arizona, Cincinnati, Texas Tech. Like, are you telling me like they don't have a chance to win those games? Because their schedule sets up really nice. Now, do I think they're going to be one of the best teams in college football? Like, do I think that they could compete in the top 10 of college football? Probably not. But they do have an outstanding quarterback. And if you have a great quarterback, it can really fix a lot of woes. If they can figure out how to protect him, I think they have a chance to be good. And because their schedule is kind of light, I do think they have a chance to make the playoff. I probably bet that they wouldn't, but I think they have a chance. And then the last thing about being everyone's Super Bowl, I kind of disagree with that too. Now, I think they created that themselves with all the hoopla and the fanfare and flashing the watch and all that stuff. But I do think when teams come to play them, they're like, hey, we got to beat Colorado. Like, so I do think teams get up for them. I don't think teams are just like, oh, this is another game on the schedule. So I disagree with everything Finebaum said in that interview. I disagree with all of it. And even in that being said, no, I don't think they're like a top 10 team, but I think they'll be all right. I think they'll be decent.
Yeah, I think me personally, I think that they're going to be better than what they was last year. If we know Coach Deion Sanders, whatever the heck you want to call him, he has a competitive edge to himself. He understood last year what went wrong, or what was part of the reason what went wrong, and that offensive line was horrible. They had no protection for Shador whatsoever, not one. He was constantly on the run, especially when they went up against the better competition in the college game. If you're sitting back, if Paul is sitting back thinking that's going to be the same team that's on this field, or that's going to be the same offensive lineman on the field as it was last year, I think has not paid attention to Deion Sanders as I would like for him. Because every level he has competed at a very high level. And when things don't go right, he gets rid of those coaches. First, the coaches go. I think he got rid of some coaches this past year as well. They're the first ones to go. And then he real quick and saying, you know what? You're not doing, as a player, you're not doing what I need you to do for the team to succeed and for you to succeed individually. You got to go as well. And we've seen that again this year. You know, a lot of players left. They were out. And I also don't believe it was just because they chose to be out. Some, yes. I also think Deion Sanders went to him and said, young man, I suggest you enter your name in the transfer portal because you're going to get cut from this program. And Deion Sanders is not scared to say that. He's not scared to say that. He came in with a suitcase saying, my son's going to be the quarterback. And what are you going to do about it? There's nothing you could do about it. Him being a salesman, I do think he's a little bit of a salesman. So I kind of agree with that one. But he's a promoter. That's what he does. That's what, I mean, he's been doing that since he was a player. Exactly. Sell yourself.
That's what he's been doing all his life.
Exactly. Everybody should be selling himself. To me, there's nothing wrong with being a salesman. And I agree with you, Jay. We are everyone's Super Bowl comment that Shador made. I thought they were. Everybody played that much harder. The opposition played that much harder because of who they were going up against. You even heard the coaches say that as well. The coaches will attack Deion and say, we're going to rip them apart and we're going to get at them. And then when they beat Colorado, understanding that it's only 1 year in. This is 1 year. 1 year, guys. It's not like he's been with Colorado for 12 years. This is his first year. They got all riled up and all excited like it was the national championship game. I'm just like, this is just a regular game. But do I think they're going to be an easy one? I absolutely do not think they're going to be an easy one. I think there's enough talent on this team. I think they went out and got some talent. They got some good coaches. I know they brought in Warren Sapp, I believe, to be the D-lines coach, if I'm not mistaken. And they did lose some players in the transfer portal. But I think Deion Sanders understand what to expect. He understands, you know what, this is the level that I need us to get to this year. And then hopefully next year we'll go to that next level. I think they'll make the playoffs based off the schedule that Jay just said. I don't think they're going to go to the national championship. I think they still got some more hurdles they got to get over. And being that Shador and Travis Hunter may come out this year in the draft, that's going to be another hurdle or another obstacle. He's going to have
to win, man. They better win now because I don't know what the year after this is going to look like.
Right. He's going to have to try to get around as well. But I do agree. I don't think he's going to stay but so long, being that his kids are getting ready to get out of there. I think he'll stay maybe a couple more years, but he look to go elsewhere, especially with the NIL deals as well. and the ruling that just came down on the NILs. But K-Rock, what's your thought on what Paul said about Deion?
Yeah, it was funny because I was trying to look up I was sitting here trying to look up the reporter, the female reporter that was next to Paul Finebaum. I don't know if you guys caught her reactions and everything.
I know.
I can't think of her name, and I was watching it live yesterday too when it all went down. I can't think of her name, but nonetheless, yeah, she was when she was trying to hold in her laugh. She was like, "Yeah, I'm not agreeing with this. I'm not agreeing with what you're talking about, Paul." But yeah, that was priceless. Nonetheless, I don't know if you guys picked that up or not, but yeah, but yeah, Paul. I think Paul. I don't think he believes that. I think he's just tired of the prime hype. I think that's what it is. Kind of like we were, or I don't say we. Kind of like I was. When it all went down, you're like, yeah, they're going to come crashing down to reality. They're going to come to reality. I know they went on that 3 or 4 game winning streak.
Yeah.
I said when they start stomping, trying to stomp with the big dogs, we're going to see what they're really about. But yeah, right now they got to do it now because you guys alluded to is that Shador is going to be a Heisman Trophy candidate. Travis Hunter is going to be a Heisman Trophy candidate, and then next year when these guys are going, they're both going to go. I know Travis Hunter is going to go early first round. Shador may go late first round, early second round. He'll be a high.
They got Shador projected as like the number 2 pick right now. Who knows how it's going to pan out? But they got him as the number 2 pick right now.
Exactly. So
crazy.
I know he was going to go high, but I didn't know he was going to go that dang high. But nonetheless, yeah, I mean, the Coach Prime, the Coach Prime, and everything that we're talking about, and when Paul Finebaum's talking about, yeah, he's relevant, but Colorado State isn't relevant. I mean, Colorado isn't relevant. I mean, if Prime is relevant, then Colorado is obviously relevant. I mean, because he's coaching there, and he'll tell you that, in your face, Paul. I don't know why you felt the way to come at him in that sense, and that's why the female counterpart there, she was like, I'm not, and she even said, she's like, listen, they're going to be relevant because of Coach Prime. She wasn't having any of what Paul was saying, and I'm not having any of what Paul was saying either. Mm-hmm. But Jay, based off of that schedule, I didn't see their schedule, and I didn't know their schedule until you mentioned it a little bit earlier. But they have a chance to go to a bowl game. I mean, with that schedule, easy. At least a bowl game. I mean, they 6 wins get you in. So I think that's very doable. And Britt, you mentioned all of the changes that they made from the coaching standpoint, or not all of them, but the few changes that they made there, and also the offensive line. They revamped that as well, which is a big Achilles heel for them last season. And then you got an older Shador, you got an older Travis Hunter, and you got an older Shiloh, thank you. Older Shiloh as well. Shiloh, I think he has some stuff to work on. He has some stuff to work on. I know he got hurt in the latter part of the season, but I think he'll be ready to go, and he'll be early round, maybe like a top 3 first round. I mean, top 3 pick as far as rounds go. The first 3 rounds, he'll be picked there. But yeah, he's got the talent right now, but they have to do it now. Now, after this season, that's when we're really going to talk about and see what he's able to do as far as replacing Shador, replacing Shiloh, and then replacing Travis Hunter. So, but I think they're very relevant, without question, and everyone's going to gun for him because of the fact of the matter is it's Coach Prime.
Absolutely. And my thing is, I can't wait for that first Coach Prime press conference, right before the season starts, when they
he's coming out
after hearing because if you don't know, you better know now. Deion heard what you said. Coach Prime absolutely heard what you said. I know said
don't Tim McCarver.
Coach Prime.
Tim McCarver.
Right.
I don't know if you guys remember Tim McCarver.
The ice on the head or water on the head. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Yeah. So I'm like, he's listening, and the fact that I don't understand why people underestimate Coach Prime. Where and during his career, whether a player or coach, do you feel it's okay to I mean, granted, people are going to underestimate you regardless of who you are, but just based off his resume, people have underestimated. He has once again proved you wrong. So I'm not going to doubt Coach Prime. I'm not going to go against him. I'm not going to doubt him, because eventually he's going to get this thing together. He understands there's a process to this. He's been on, like I said earlier, he's been coaching at every single level. And every single level he has won. So he understands there's a process to this. So I would not be surprised if even if when Shador, Shiloh, and Travis, oh, those are three big names to lose.
Facts.
Within the next couple of years, Colorado's going to be. No, I can't put them in the Alabama, Georgia, Ohio State, Michigan category, but I wouldn't be surprised if they're the tier under within the next couple year or two. But we have a comment here. It says from Greg. It says Paul was wrong, but I do need Colorado to be better than they were last year for sure. But they'll be all right. I absolutely agree with this.
Yeah, I agree with that too. They have to be better. I think they will be better. They added 42 new players, so they revamped the roster. And he's right. I mean, they have to be better because if you're going to talk the talk, which they do, if you're going to be flashy, which they are, then you got to figure out a way to win more than 3 ball games. But I think they're better, and I think because of the schedule, I think they have a chance to win a lot of games this year.
But who says that adding? You didn't say this, Jay, but I know some people are thinking about like, wow, 42 new players is kind of, that's kind of crazy. But with the transfer portal, they're not the only school that's doing this. The transfer portal, players are hopping in and out of that transfer portal left and right just because they feel like it, as we well know. Now, unfortunately, for some players, it's not working out well because they're not getting picked up at all. But others, they have enough talent, they're getting picked up wherever. But quick question to you guys, we kind of talked about it. Or K-Walk, you alluded to that Shador maybe number 2 is being looked at as number 2 in an NFL draft.
Early mock drafts,
Or Jay said
I
that.
saw had him at
Jay said that,
Jay said that, I'm sorry. What are your thoughts on Shador? Do you guys feel, based off what you've seen the last couple of years at Colorado, do you feel he has the talent to be drafted that high? Anybody can take it.
Go ahead, Jay.
I do. I think he's really, really, really good. Like, it didn't take me long. I remember watching their first game last year, and he threw like a 15-yard out route. And I think I texted y'all or texted the thread, Shador's for real. And I don't think there's any question that he's an outstanding quarterback. I don't think the quarterback class is that great. I think Carson Beck at Georgia is the only guy that they have ahead of Shador right now. So I do, Britt. I think he's really good. And if they can protect him, you got to remember last year he was running for his life. He had no protection at all. If they can protect him, we'll get a chance to see how good he really can be. But I absolutely think he'll be worthy of a top 10 pick. I don't know if he'll go 1 or 2, but I think he's absolutely worthy of a top 10 pick.
K-Walk, any thoughts on Shador?
Yeah, I agree with Jay there. I mean, looking at the quarterback class next year, we talked about this class, this class this year in 2024 not being that deep, and I think him being ranked where he is and him the way he played last season, I think he'll be right up there. I mean, if Daniel Jones can go 7, why can't Shador?
Exactly.
I'm just simply saying. And so I really believe. Yeah, I believe it. I think he'll get better. I think he's going to be working with a lot of different pro type guys, and Deion's going to get Coach Prime, is going to make sure that he's prepared. All of those guys, not just him, but specifically for him, and he's going to be having a little extra attention for obvious reasons. That he's going to be working with some of these guys, these quarterbacks. I forget the quarterback guru that works with a lot of the players coming out of college. I forget his name, the black gentleman. I forget the African American coach. Can't think his name escapes me, but yeah, he's going. I bet you he'll be working with him. So yeah, and I think he'll have a decent. I think he'll have a decent career. I'm not saying he's going to go out there and lead teams to playoffs, but I think he'll be relevant to steal for Paul Finebaum's word there. I think he'll be relevant in the NFL for sure.
So this is not going to be a LeBron Bronny situation. You think?
No, definitely not. He's worthy of being there. Yeah, he's worth no.
He can play.
No.
Shots fired.
Yeah, for sure.
Put him away. I'm just kidding. I had to steal that from Kate. And last question on the Colorado topic before we move on to our next topic. Travis Hunter, because I've seen some rankings. Some have him going early. Some have him going around the 5th round, which is pretty late for a talented guy like that. As we both know, he plays both wide receiver and cornerback. I know a lot of people want him to choose when he goes, prior to the NFL draft, actually before he even finishes his college career, they prefer for him to stay on one side of the football versus playing both. Just give me your thoughts on Travis Hunter, and do you think, I know we talked about this a long time ago, but do you think he should choose let me correct that. Which side do you think he should choose, and if he should stay on that side entering into the NFL draft? Whoever.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he should choose, to be honest with you. But it's the NFL, so they're gonna have you choose. I think he's valuable on both sides of the ball. You get him in that right offense, that right team, he could be valuable on both sides of the ball. But if he has to choose, I think defense might be his best bet there, because as a defensive back, and you understand, and as a receiver as well, you understand the intricacies of route running and things of that nature.
Right.
So he has an understanding of that, and so he has an idea how to look at receivers, when they're going to drop their hips, when they're going to turn their head and things of that nature. So I think he'll be a heck of a cornerback. I really think he could be a solid receiver, but I think he'll be even better cornerback. He'll be like a prime, because he minus his speed. I know he's got some speed there. He doesn't have prime speed, but he has decent speed. But yeah, I think corner or slot. He could even play the slot as well. Slot deep, cornerback there. So I think if he has to choose, he should go D back, in my opinion.
Jay, any thoughts on this?
Yeah, I was actually going to go the other way. I mean, he's a phenomenal athlete, and he's obviously really talented at both positions. But I actually think he's a little bit further along as a receiver. I think back to that Colorado State game last year, and he was really not good in coverage that game. I mean, I think that receiver had over 200 yards on him, and a lot of it was just straight man-to-man defense. And I think part of the problem is when you're trying to do both, you
I think he
probably suffer a little bit. To your point, K-Walk, tired, but also technique. Like to be a really good cover corner, there's a lot of little technique things that you really have to perfect. And I just think when you're trying to do both, it's hard to do. And K-Walk, I'm sure you could say the same thing about receiver, that there's a lot of little nuances that you have to figure out. If I was him, I think if they force me to choose, which eventually he'll have to, because he ain't playing both ways in the NFL. It's just not going to happen. I'd probably play offense. And then maybe, if they need some spot defense here and there, maybe he can do that. But I think I like him more as a receiver.
Do you think, Jay, because there's a lot of wide receivers, a lot of talented wide receivers in the NFL. Do you think that could potentially impact him if he chose wide receiver? Could that impact his draft stock? Because there are way more talented wide receivers.
It's a great point. It's a great point, because if you're an elite corner, you can't find those guys just standing out on the street, right? If you're an elite corner. But I think, to your point, Britt, I think it's easier to find a really good wide receiver than it is to find a really good corner. So yeah, I think there'd be more competition from the wide receiver position. But I thought I saw him like projected to go like number 9 or number 10 in one of the mock drafts. So I think he's going to go pretty high no matter what, just because of the athleticism that he brings to the table. And then they'll get him in camp and figure out what they should do with him.
Yeah, somebody recently said, I heard it, and they was like 5th round pick.
What are you saying?
Somebody was hating.
Like, well, wait a minute. And it was on ESPN. And I was like, well, wait a minute. This kid was actually
was that Paul Finebaum?
Yeah, it
might have been. And real quick, because I know we got to move on. Because I know we started a little late, but do you think his size can impact him as well? Because he is a smaller guy, similar to Emmanuel Forbes, who's with Washington. I know he got benched because he just couldn't handle certain physical type of receivers. Do you think that can impact him as well? Anybody can go.
Yeah, it could, Britt. I mean, when you talk about today's receivers, man, today's receivers are just like the ends back in the day, just faster, bigger, stronger, faster.
Right.
I mean, i.e. AJ Brown, just to name name the one that sticks out to me the most as far as being the most physical. Even Devontae Adams as well. But yeah, I mean, but nowadays you're really not allowed to touch the receiver anyway, to be perfectly honest with you. But when it comes to those 50-50 balls, that's when you really got to ask yourself, can he really, play with those big guys? Can he really be physical? Can he out physical those guys if it comes down to a 50-50 ball? It could hurt him. I mean, there's going to be, anytime that you have a draftee coming in, you're going to see his strengths. And then you're going to see his weaknesses, and he's going to do his best to work on all of that. But I think he's a great athlete, like Jay mentioned. We're talking about whether he should play both sides, what side of the ball he should play in NFL. So that just goes to show you that he'll be able to adjust no matter what side of the ball he is. But if we're talking about defense, I think he'll be able, to handle that. If not, just hold on to the legs until help arrives. If worst case scenario, you know what I mean. So.
Right. Jay, any thoughts on his size being an impact on?
Yeah, I mean, he does have a slight build. I mean, there's no question about that. I think he's going to have to get stronger. He probably has, honestly, in all the work that he's probably been doing in the offseason. But there are some receivers in the league that do have a slight. I mean, look at who is it? Devontae Smith. Yeah, I mean, he's a very slight build as well. So I think as long as you can figure out how to protect yourself and know that you have a slight build, I think you'll be okay. But to K Walk's point, when they're putting together the strengths and weaknesses and the pros and cons, that'll definitely be something that probably works against him.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's for me, it's going to be interesting, because Devontae Smith, like you just alluded to, his slight build, but he plays much bigger than what he is. And he knows,
I think he's taller too, maybe. How tall is Devontae?
He might be about 6'1".
Okay. Because he looks taller anyway. Maybe he's not.
Right.
I don't know.
And probably because he's so skinny.
Them bones.
Right. So Devontae Smith understands how to protect himself, I'm not sure if Travis is there yet. And then on the other side, if he plays DB, I do have some concerns, like I mentioned earlier, like an Emmanuel Forbes going up against somebody like a AJ Brown or who's the guy from the Seahawks? His name's not coming to my head right now.
DK Metcalf.
DK Metcalf going up
he's a problem for anybody.
Right. Strong, fast, physical receivers. You can't lock these guys up at the line. They're just going to push you out the way like you just don't exist.
Yeah.
But Greg 144. I'm sorry, I'm getting my numbers wrong. Greg 144 said Travis should be a receiver, will be a good one, has bulked up though, no later than 3rd round pick. 5th round is hilarious.
Real, though, bro. For real, bro. You ain't lying. You ain't never lied, bro.
Bear with me as I'm reading comments. Bear with me as I'm reading comments, guys. I'm just trying to get there's no punctuation and grammar in there, so I'm just kidding. I'm just playing. Don't kill me, Greg. Don't kill me. It's just a joke. All right, guys, let's move on to the next topic. We got to get to the NBA.
Use that co-pilot, Greg. Use that co-pilot.
We got to get to the NBA. A former NBA player said something about a current NBA player, and it's Cantor. If I said his name, I haven't seen him, heard from him in a long time, or at least it just felt like he hasn't played in a while. He spoke on. Greg said, "Dang,
you good, bro. We messing with you, bro. You
good." He spoke on LeBron James in a recent podcast interview, and I just want to get your thoughts on this.
You have it?
Give me 1 second. Yep, pulling up right now. It is a video. I'm pulling up right now.
Because I did not see it.
Come on, K-Rock. I always got a video.
I know.
He is not a good teammate. Obviously, he runs the media pretty much, and
I did see this. Okay.
His narrative, but if we actually go and have a conversation with inside of the NBA and have a conversation with the players, nobody wants to play with him. Listen, my whole life, I actually, I'm fighting against Dictator. So when I see a dictator, I know it. LeBron is literally like the dictator of the NBA. He controls the media. He controls his narrative. If you go against his agenda, you will get traded, and everybody knows it. You know, so he's pretty much like the dictator of the NBA.
Yeah,
He called him the dictator of the NBA. He also said his entire life he fights dictators. I have a comment on that, but before I get to that comment on that dictator comment, let's see, Jay, you want to take this one? What are your thoughts on what he said about LeBron?
So these guys have a bit of a history. Like Enes Kanter and LeBron have a history. Even when Kanter was in the league, he was going at LeBron for something, but maybe for being with Nike and you know, because the shoes were made in China and he had an issue with that because of some of the things that were happening in China. Like, so he has had an issue with LeBron for a long time for some political reasons. I think he just doesn't like LeBron too. So some of this is personal for Enes Kanter. With that being said, some of the things that he's saying, like, I don't think he's the only person that thinks these things, right? I mean, we've heard other people maybe not be willing to come out and say it like that, but have alluded to the fact that LeBron controls a lot of things when he's with an organization. If you can't kind of do things the way he wants them, then you're going to be out of there. So we've heard other people allude to these kinds of things with LeBron, but I just think with Kanter, some of what he's saying might be true, but it's more personal for him because he's had an issue with LeBron since day one.
You know what? People are going to kill me for saying this, y'all. And you know what? I do not care at this point. He said one thing. I'm not saying I necessarily disagree. I do think LeBron has a lot of control between him and Clutch Sports over a lot of things that goes on in the NBA. He has a lot of say-so with the Lakers organization. We have seen it. And I do think that is why some players, and I said it before, don't want to go to the Lakers because of that, because he has so much control, because he has so much say. And it doesn't fit what they want. They want to be able to focus on basketball, not all this other stuff. But it's hard for me to listen to a guy like Enes Kanter. I'm sorry, because the first thing he said is, "I fight dictators all my life. I don't like them." But you're with I shouldn't say this. But you're with Trump, and if Trump is not trying to be a dictator, I don't know who is. I'm sorry. You could get on me all you want, but you said I fight dictatorships. I don't like dictators. But this dude has shown you he's trying to be a dictator. I don't know how many words comes through my ears after that one. It's just like it goes in one ear and right out the other because it just goes blah, blah, blah. Like you're making no sense to me right now. Anyway, I had to get that off my chest. That kind of annoyed me a little bit. But K-Walk, what's your thoughts on this one?
You almost took me there with you, Brett. You almost took me there with you, Brett. But I'm not going to follow you on that one, Brett. But I'm with you though. But I have to stop at a certain point. So but I think we kind of all alluded to it when we talked about the hiring of JJ Redick, the draft selection of Bronny James. We know what LeBron does and what he's able to do. We call him the GM, of the Lakers, even though Rob Pelinka has that title. We see what goes on there, and we see, DeMar DeRozan, a lot of guys. He said, LeBron said, listen, I'm willing to take a pay cut if we can get some quality guys in here. And apparently no one wanted to go there because we didn't hear about no one going, said, oh, I'm not going there. I can get more money. I can get the money I'm looking for. LeBron immediately, he probably heard around the league, or probably they reached out to DeMar DeRozan's camp, and they were like, nah, we're good over here, man. We're good. And he immediately signed that max extension. So he didn't even really give much time, between when he said I'll take less money to when he signed an extension. So there was that just leads me to believe there were rumors around, there was talks around the league that no one's going to sign with you, LeBron, because we know how you get down. We know how you get down, and you got your do boy there in JJ Redick. You got your do boy over there and with AD as well. Now you got everything that you want, man. And I agree with him in that sense as far as LeBron controlling the narrative. He does control the narrative. It's there. I mean, there's evidence of it there. It's not something that we're just speculating and just saying, oh, this, oh, well, I think. The writing's on the wall. So I agree with him in that standpoint as far as LeBron being a dictatorship. I'm not going to comment on the other. He fights dictators. I'm not going to comment on that aspect of it, Britt. But I'm picking up what you're putting down there, Britt. But nonetheless, yeah, I agree with him in that from the LeBron standpoint, without question.
K-Walk, I already know they're gonna come for me for saying
Nah,
that.
Brett, you're good, Brett. Hey, everyone's
just had
entitled. Everyone's entitled, Brett.
I just had
Everyone's
to say it.
entitled.
Like, it just didn't make sense to me how you say you fight dictator. Like, to me, you just contradicted yourself. Whether it's
I'm
good
just
or
gonna do this,
bad,
Brett. I'm just gonna
right,
do that. Do
right.
this
Whether
and do
it's
that.
whether
That's
you think it's a
all.
good thing or a bad thing, don't say you fight something the same thing that you're supporting. So it's just tell us the truth.
He
Don't
fights
lie to us.
certain dictators.
Right. Okay. And the other one's got him in his pocket. I got what you're saying. The other one's got him in his pocket. So he's a little puppet right now. But anyway, great. Yeah, I do. But I do think LeBron, like I said earlier, LeBron does have control. I think he has too much control. I don't even think MJ or Michael had this much control. Maybe they did. Maybe Michael, I was a little bit too young. Kobe, I was a little bit more aware, but I don't think Kobe had this much control over an entire team. He probably gave his input, but for the most part, it's what the Lakers organization did. He kind of dealt with it. He may have gotten on the players when they got on the court. We know what type of teammate that he was. Teammates loved him, but he was a no-nonsense type of teammate. He wanted to win. That was his main goal, was to win. LeBron, he has different agendas. To me, he's more of a, I want the numbers, or he wants the rings too, but I want, my son to play with me. He wants to more do things that's never been done before type of guy. Rightly so. That's his thing. I'm all about championships when I'm playing the sport, but that's me. I don't want to focus on anything else except for the championship. Yes, it's cool, it's fun, it's exciting to play with your son, but I need my ring at the same time. I need to allow my son to go off on his own. I got him to this point. He needs to take it off a little bit further. Jay, did you have a thought on that?
Yeah, because the interesting thing about that, Britt, is I could see when LeBron was in his absolute prime, and this guy, you felt like he was the best player in basketball, and you felt like if he's on my team, I have a real shot at winning the championship. But to me, he's no longer that player. You guys tell me if you disagree, but they haven't been able to attract any great free agents. There seems like there's people in the league who are saying, nah, I'd rather not play with him. Having him on your roster, we've seen the last few years, it doesn't get you over the hump. He's no longer that guy that can put you on his back and carry you into the NBA finals. So why do you think the Lakers are allowing this man to call the shots? Because I could see if he was still that guy. And you're like, well, we're going to let him do what he wants, but we know we're going to be in the finals at the end of the year. But he's not that anymore. So that's where I struggle with it. Why are they letting him call all the shots and pull all the strings when he can't deliver anymore on the basketball court? Yeah, he's still a very good player, but he's not taking you to a championship. It's not happening.
Right. He can no longer carry the team.
Yeah.
But if you think about it, it's still interesting because you could tell there's something else that goes on outside of just his play on the court, because I still think he can contribute to a championship team and at a high level if players want to go there. But I think when you see videos such as the coach is trying to draw up a play, but LeBron's like, no, give me the clipboard. I got it. I don't think, I kind of feel like that players don't like that. Players just like, who's the coach? Who are we listening to? Are we listening to LeBron or are we listening to the head coach? If that's the case, then why do we have a coach? Well, it should just be another situation like the Nets with Kyrie, KD, and who am I missing? Who's the guy? James Harden. When they was like, oh, we don't need a head coach, but clearly you do, and clearly you need a good head coach, because if not, we see what's going on with LeBron. He hasn't won since. But here's Greg 144. There's definitely a beef with Ennis. I almost forgot the man's name. A beef Ennis has with LeBron, but I will say he is right to a degree about how LeBron pretty much controls the narrative wherever he goes, and that is true. But one more thing,
and he threw the punctuation in there. as well.
Yes.
I'm messing with you, brother. I'm messing with you, brother.
The grammar. No. One more thing pertaining to this, about him being a dictator or him controlling the narrative, and that was his son Bronny. We've spoke about it before plenty of times, but this particular player, their recent champion, and I'm pretty sure you guys are very aware, and Finals MVP Jaylen Brown was recently at, I believe it was the Lakers Summer League game. I don't know if you've seen the video. It's very silent, guys. It's very silent. If you watching
read
this,
lips and read lips. You can read lips,
right? if you're watching, it's like, what are you talking about? You can read lips. I got the video here for you. It's like I said, it's silent, but I'll tell you right after this exactly what he said. Basically, what he said was, I don't think Bronny is a pro. His girlfriend, I can't pronounce her name. I think it's whatever.
Cursa,
something. She used to be a former WNBA player. She recently got cut. She said, I think he'll be on the G League team for sure. And then Jaylen Brown then said, I don't think so. I think because of his name, he'll be on the Lakers. He did come out later on. And then tweet, not necessarily apologize, but he said it's a flex to have your son alongside you in the NBA. It reflects greatness and longevity. Bronny has all the tools around him to be successful. I look forward to watching his growth. And he reposted this with that video I just showed on his Twitter. I think it's some kind of form of apology in a way. But what are your thoughts on what Jaylen Brown said? Because it's probably not just him thinking this. It's probably also other players along this thinking this as well. Anybody can take it.
Yeah, I think he's, he probably thinks what a lot of other people sitting around watching the summer league games are thinking. Those guys that are like players know. Like that's what we always said in college. Like players know. Like when you're playing, you know who can play and who can't play. Mm-hmm. And those NBA guys sitting there watching the game, they can tell the guys who they think, okay, that guy, he's a pro. That guy's not a pro. So I think he was just being honest. I think there's probably a ton of people that feel the same way, but just aren't willing to say it publicly. And based off of what we've seen so far, it would be very accurate. I think the Lakers played last night and Bronny dropped 3 points, I believe. Or what was it, 1 point, K-Walk?
No, he had one shot. Oh, he had one shot.
3 points, maybe, yeah. or 2 points. I think he had 2 points.
So a shot clock buzzer beater.
Yeah. So I mean, based off what we've seen, he doesn't look like he's a pro right now. And I know, like, we're not going to put all the eggs in one basket just for summer league. We don't want to throw all our eggs in one basket, but could we put like one egg in the basket? Could he just show us something that gives us a glimmer of hope that maybe this thing's going to work out? Because right now, it doesn't look like he's ready. So I agree with Jaylen Brown. I kind of, sometimes I wish guys would just not be in such a rush to go on social media and try to clean it up. Just let it be. Yeah. Like you're the MVP of the finals. You're a champion. You don't have to try to clean it up. If that's how you feel, that's how you feel.
Yeah, don't Stephen A. Smith it, man.
He might have got nervous that LeBron might dictate.
Why? He got money. He got money.
Get him out of here. No, I'm just kidding. He got a ring. But LeBron's level of dictatorship is much higher than that one ring he got now.
On the other coast, yeah. He can't come in Boston saying that nonsense.
That is true. You might be right about that one. But no, I'm with Jaylen Brown on this. He spoke his truth. He has his opinion. He's not coming at, and I know people got on Jaylen Brown for saying it. He's not coming at Bronny personally. He's critiquing his game, and I think it's okay to critique your game. You are on the highest level now of professional basketball. This is the highest level of basketball. So once you got drafted, once you hit that summer league stage, that NBA court, all bets are off. We're not coming at you, even us here. We don't come at your personality. You may be the coolest, kindest, sweetest kid on planet Earth, but you pick up that basketball. If you trash, we're gonna let you know you trash. I shouldn't say it like that. K-Walk, you told me not to say that earlier. I shouldn't say it like that. But if you're not great, we're going to tell you got some work to do. And he has a lot of work to do. And LeBron can't get mad at that. LeBron should actually understand this situation because he's been through it. So he's going to get it times 2 because he is your son. So to me, they don't have anything to say about it. But K-Walk? Or they
I mean, I agree with that. I mean, Jaylen Brown, I think he has a leg to stand on. I mean, he just signed a big contract last season. He just won a NBA championship, and he just won the NBA Finals MVP. So I think he knows a thing or two about basketball. And he's in a private. He thought he was in a private moment, but you're courtside with Angel Reese and and so forth. So I think it was Angel Reese.
She was sitting.
She was right. She was I stalked her. I forgot that they were sitting next. I was looking at her. But no, nonetheless. But I mean, he's thinking that he's having a private conversation. This goes to show you, ladies and gentlemen, that you're not safe anywhere. You're not safe anywhere. People can read lips. It may not be an audio, but and he's right though. And it's sad that he has to kind of like retract that or clarify or post something like that. Say it with your chest, man. If you mean it, say it and stand by it. Like, why do you have, because you want to wait for somebody else's reaction, that you got to sit there and say, oh, well, man, I didn't mean it that way. Yes, you did, because you said it that way. Right. So stop that. Stop doing that. If you guys mean it, stand by it. Like, it's like, who cares if you lose a couple of followers? It's going to be all right. Your direct deposit will still hit when it's supposed to hit. I mean, don't worry about all that, man. That's how he feels. That's how I feel. And I'm quite sure, I'm not speaking for you two, but I'm quite sure that's how you feel. Like, LeBron from NBA, so Bronny from an NBA standpoint is trash. From an NBA standpoint, he is trash. I said it. If no one else has said, I'm not going to come back and I'm not going to retract it. I'm not going to say, I didn't mean he's trash. I'm saying from an NBA standpoint, so I don't have to do any clarification later. From an NBA standpoint, Bronny does not belong there.
In street ball, you would have got your bust. I'm not trying to curse, but you would have got your beat busted real easily, real quick, and got kicked off the court. Next, that's how bad he is right now. But like I said, he got some work to do.
I didn't see that. You put that up? Oh, I thought you put something up. Oh no, I thought you saw. I thought you was putting something up. You was reading. I didn't see that.
No. I said that.
Oh, that's from you. Okay, there you. Okay, that's you.
Street ball, he would have got kicked off the court.
Oh, in street ball. Okay, I'm sorry.
Yes, in street ball, he would have got kicked off the court real quick. So that means
he would have took his ball and went home. Yep, exactly.
No, matter of fact, you so bad, I'm keeping your ball. You walk home.
Oh, damn.
I return it later if I feel like it. All right, guys, we gotta go into break. We are going to probably take another extra 10 to 15 minutes if we need it on the back end, because we did start a little bit later today. But we got things going. Again, thank you for watching. We are slowly but surely growing our channel. We greatly appreciate your support. Please continue to subscribe to our YouTube channel at The Sideline Speaks. We would so greatly appreciate if you could also share. Word of mouth to me is the best way to spread the news about this show. Please like and subscribe and comment to our channel as well. We are also on Twitter, aka X, at Sideline Speaks, and anywhere you can get your podcast. And once again, if you ask us a question or if you make a comment, we will do our best to answer your question or respond to your comment while we are live on air. So you guys are watching. Oh wait, guys, should I play that anthem as our commercial again, or no? That's it. That's it. No more anthem. Oh, okay. No more anthem. No more anthem. No more anthem. We're done. We're done. If you missed it at the beginning of the show, we played the national anthem and we commented on it. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you must have not watched the MLB Home Run Derby last night. So make sure you check it out on our channel later. But you guys are watching The Sideline Speaks with myself, Brittany Jones, alongside Jason Collins and Kevin Walker. Do not go anywhere. We will be right back after this break.
Hello, this is Marvin Lewis, and you're watching The Sideline Speaks with Brittany Jones, Jason Collins, and Kevin Walker. They're taking a break, and they will be right back.
All right, welcome back to the Sideline Speaks. Brittany Jones, Kevin Walker, and Jason Collins. What's up, Britt?
I'm just saying in the back studio, I seen y'all jamming to the beat.
Yeah,
that was nice.
Yeah, right.
That was good.
I wonder who created that.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah,
know.
find
I don't
that
know
out,
who
Brett.
made
Find
that
that
beat,
out.
but it's a nice
Yeah.
beat. It's a nice
Find
beat.
that out.
I gotta come up with a name.
Props to
Yeah.
that producer, Brett.
I'm just
All
saying.
right. Y'all got to help me understand this Jalen Brunson contract, because I've looked at the numbers, and I know K Walk, you were saying, well, maybe it's some stuff down the road where he can capitalize, but he signed a 4-year, $156 million contract with the Knicks, which is 58% less than what he could have gotten if he just waited to next year, where he could have signed a 5-year, $269 million deal. Help me understand, K-Walk, why would Brunson sign now instead of waiting a year and getting that 269? Help make it make sense.
Jay, I can only think about one thing. He's thinking the long term, and he's thinking next year. He's thinking about the free agents that are going to hit next year. I mentioned my man Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler is going to be available next year because he did not sign his max extension with the Miami Heat. Maybe he's going to bring him. Maybe they're talking about it. Maybe they've already talked about it. And kind of like LeBron and D Wade and Chris Bosh and them, kind of like talk to one another to do that collaboration. I can see Jimmy Butler going there. I just don't see him re-signing with Miami right now because Pat Riley's not really happy with him. Or maybe there's another free agent out there. Maybe there's a sign and trade that we don't know. That's something that can that's behind the scenes. But Jay, I really think he's looking at it from the future standpoint, from next year, and whomever's going to be available that they can bring in there. Maybe even this year, the off season, or before the trade deadline. I think he's looking at it from that standpoint, because now, and you look at it, and you look around the league and in any sport, not just basketball, and you don't see too many guys doing this. LeBron did it for 37 hours, I think it was, however long it is. He was willing to take away, take less money, but he immediately said that no one's coming here. So yeah, right. But I know, right? But yeah, I think that's what it's about, Jay. I think he's understanding how to win a championship. He's seen how Boston did it. He's seen how who won it last year? Denver did it. Denver as well. You're gonna need those pieces, man. You're gonna need another superstar. Maybe he feels like another superstar is needed in that building in order to get it done, and not just for next year, next season, or this season and next season, beyond, and on down the road. Maybe they're trying to build a dynasty there in New York, here in New York, I should say. But that's the only thing I could think about it, Jay. He's just thinking long term, man. He's thinking bigger money, the big picture.
Yeah, and I get that. I mean, I get wanting to win and wanting to be able to put together the best team possible. But to give up 100 million, I get he's not necessarily giving it up, because if he stays healthy over the next 4 years, like, he'll be able to sign a huge deal. But to me, it's just always a risk. Like, I guarantee you, if you don't play well, or if you get hurt, the Knicks aren't going to be like, oh, well, you did this for us, we're still going to give you a boatload of money, even though like you're injured now, or maybe you're not as good as we thought you were, or whatever the case may be. So I get wanting the team to win, but at a 58% pay cut, man, that's big. I mean,
Shay, let me ask you this question. Let me ask you that.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this: what can he pay? What can he buy with that? With next year's contract, if he signed that he can't do with this contract he just signed, what can't he buy?
Yeah,
I know I get the money. There's a difference, but
still live in the same house, probably still take all the same vacations, do all those things. But the thing that I like, if you're talking like generations and generations and generations, having another $100 million definitely isn't a bad thing. And I just think, like, you got to get your money while you can, just because in sports there's no guarantees, and that's. I mean, I get what he's doing, and if that's what you want to do, that's fine. But I don't know. I think if that's me, I'm taking the money. But
wow, that's really that you?
I am. K-Walk.
Wow,
I am just because. And K-Walk, like, like, the organizations treat it like a business. Like, they want you to say, "Oh, come on, man, take one for the team." But they're not taking one for a team. Like, if they have an opportunity to take one for a team, they're not going to do it. Ask Isaiah Thomas how that
Brandon
worked.
Ayuk.
So I don't know, but Britt, what say you?
He's not going to get that money back whatsoever. That money is gone. He had the opportunity. That money is gone. There's no way he's going to be able to make up $113 million. I don't care what he does. Endorsement deals, you're still missing over $100 million. You still left $100 million on the table. So that money is gone, done, zilch. The reason why I kind of on the side with Jay here, I mean, look at the state that he's in. Guys, New York is an expensive state. Okay, you want to live in New Jersey? New Jersey has the highest property taxes in the country. So it's New York, New Jersey, and California, the 3 highest property taxes in the country. So I don't know where you living with that money at all. So that right there to me is a big difference. So that does determine where you can and cannot live, in my opinion. You can get a nice house. You're gonna be able to get a beautiful home, but you ain't gonna be able to get the home that you may have wanted with that extra $100 million.
Brett, you make your house, you make your primary residence in Florida, and you rent in New York. That's how you do it.
Hey, rent in New York is expensive, though. Okay,
hey, it's not expensive as owning a house here, though. I'll tell you that.
And you're right. You are right. But where is he renting that in New York? Is my question. Is he renting downtown? I mean, Manhattan, close to the stadium.
Yeah.
So,
probably. I don't know.
I mean,
I'm sorry.
I mean, overall, I do understand why he did it, and I do think it is admirable of him to do it. Would I have done it? No. Maybe I take 10 million off, something like that, maybe 15 million, but over $100 million. No, I am not doing that whatsoever.
That's another superstar, though, Britt. That's a superstar.
It is,
and that's 2 rings.
But
possibly.
how many? But let me ask you something. How many superstars you need? The Knicks are already saying they
At
got
least
what they
2.
needed. They saying they got Brunson. They were so excited to get Mikal Bridges, and Mikal Bridges not a star anymore. You're so excited. They still got they claiming that Randall is a star as well. So you got OG. So how many superstars do you need at this point? It's just like, will it work on the court if you bringing in too many guys? So you claim, you're telling me you got what you need, right? So Mikal Bridges, I think he signs next year. He's eligible to sign for a contract extension next year. I heard he's considering taking a slight pay cut. I don't know if it's going to be over $100 million as well. So that means, so what you're telling me is that you still believe you don't have enough to get over the hump. That's what you're telling me in my eyes.
Yeah, it could be.
Kudos to him, but maybe last year was just a Cinderella year. Maybe they're like, well, I don't know if we could beat Boston. Well, the Sixers did get better and Embiid wasn't healthy. Maybe they are admitting those things. Maybe they are admitting the rest kind of helped us out a little bit. Because if you believe in what you have now, to me, you will build off what you have and really just add, make additions to your depth. Add maybe more quality role players to where he didn't have to make that major pay cut. So who are you looking to bring in? Because as you guys just alluded to, have some of the guys that's free agents next year are older. Jimmy Butler, I would love for him to be back on the Sixers, but can he do what he did just a couple years ago? He's starting to become more injury prone. I understand why the Heat doesn't want to max him out. Yes, he does become playoff Jimmy, but you got to stay healthy, right? The same thing that we talk about with Joel Embiid and other players, right? Is that who they're looking to pay? I don't know if I'm going to save $100 million or take $100 million pay cut for a Jimmy Butler. I love Jimmy, no disrespect to Jimmy, but no. So who are you looking to bring in?
Yeah, but to combat that just a little bit, Jimmy, we kind of talked about, I forget who we were talking about. Oh, Saquon Barkley. You pay these guys a little bit more because you don't expect them to have that workload that they had in previous years. And if he goes to a New York Knicks, meaning Jimmy Butler, he doesn't have to carry an entire team like he did, with the Heat, because he has scores like Brunson and Bridges and those guys. So yeah, I mean, I think you bring him in, and for $100 million for however long, I think it's a bargain in the NBA. We're talking about, him leaving $100 million, but I think, Jimmy Butler at his stage of his career, he's willing to take that, and you can get him at that cost, and he doesn't have to carry this team. I think it's a win-win for both Jimmy Butler and the New York Knicks. But I would hate to see it. Makes me go ahead, Brad, sorry.
I was gonna say, I think also we got to realize, will Jimmy come there for a player like
I don't.
Jimmy.
That's just
I know we're
I
just
got you.
talking
I got you.
about Jimmy.
Right.
A player similar to Jimmy with his mindset who's still saying, "Yo, I could play this game." Is he willing to take a pay cut to go to the Knicks? Because he's going to have to pay decide to take less money to even go to the Knicks. I understand what Jalen Brunson is doing is very admirable. He took a lot of money less than, but is it enough to get the player that they want there anyway? So he may have done this for nothing.
Yeah, you're right. You're right about that.
Yeah, and my whole thing with it too, like a guy like Jimmy Butler, not necessarily Butler, but like you said, Britt, a player of that caliber, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like, is a player of that caliber enough to get them over the hump? Like, if the New York Knicks sign Jimmy Butler right now, do we believe that makes the Knicks a championship contender?
I'll say yes. I say yes.
You do? See,
I do.
don't know. Like,
I do.
For me, I'm like, I don't know if that puts them over the hump. And I don't know if I'm Brunson, if I'm saying I'm gonna give up $113 million for a player of Jimmy Butler's caliber, because I don't think Jimmy Butler is the same Jimmy Butler he was 2-3 years ago.
And it doesn't have to. That's what I'm saying. He doesn't have to be because he has scores. Sorry.
Yeah, I guess I just don't believe he's the champion. A player like that, I don't want to put it on Butler, but just a player like that, I don't know that that's the championship difference. And then the other thing that concerns me is a lot can happen in 4 years. Brunson's going to be 31 the next time he can sign a contract. Mm-hmm. If he gets hurt, or if he's just not as good, like maybe, you know what I mean? Yeah, they caught lightning in a bottle a little bit here and there, but can he consistently play at that level for 4 more years and then say, okay, I want the max now? I don't know. A lot can happen in 4 years. So I don't know. If that was me, I'm taking the money. K-Walk, you sound like you would have been willing to leave it on the table for the team.
If it's going to get me closer to a ring, I know it's no guarantee, but yeah, if it's going to put me in the best position to get to the NBA Finals, I'm going to do it. And you mentioned 4 years. Was Brunson? How would you say Brunson was? 27
right now.
27. I mean, you could. So 4 years, you still, you can still get that max deal. I mean, the money's going up. These television deals, what, 76 billion right now? So it's going to go up. The money's going to go up. So that it's going to be there. I think he'll get
everything goes right. He'll get paid again if everything goes right. I'm just worried about if it doesn't go right.
Well, you always got to factor that in, but I'm looking at the positive. Oh, my bad. My bad, guys.
I think another thing that we also have to consider, if there is a star, I'm assuming there's star hunting in this situation, right?
I'm thinking that
because apparently you don't have the star on your team as of right now outside of Brunson, which is blowing my mind because I love Mikal Bridges. I really do. But if there's another star, who's to say the way that Brunson's role is on the team, he is the primary guy right now. He's the primary scorer. Would that other star be willing to accept a different role on this particular team? So that's another thing.
Jimmy Butler, not a Jimmy Butler like. I don't think there's anyone like Jimmy Butler. I don't think anyone like. That's why he's Jimmy Butler.
If we're talking about Jimmy, let's be real. I really think that Jimmy wants to stay in Miami. I think he likes Miami. He just wants his money. And if he realized no other team is willing to give him or to go, to give him exactly what he wants, maybe it's not too far what Pat Riley may be willing to give Jimmy. I think Jimmy stays in Miami. I wouldn't be surprised if he stays in. I think he likes the atmosphere. I really think he likes Miami. He became Miami when he moved down there. So I don't know if Jimmy is willing to go to New York. I'm like, he's that back down in the South. He's chilling, he's relaxing. Does he want to come back with this crazy media and these nutcase of a fan base? Philly included, Philly, Boston, and New York. We could be some crazy fan base. But the thing is, will we see another D Wade? Can another D Wade or LeBron or whatever present itself in New York? It's a possibility. But the way these mentalities of these young players now, their egos, they're more of a like, this is my team. Now, maybe if they could use some pieces and trade for Lauri Markkanen, that might not be a bad idea. And then max him out.
No, he's coming to Miami.
I guess for me, like even when you mentioned Markkanen, like if I'm Brunson, like I'm not giving up $100 million for Markkanen. Like to me, he's not worth $100 million coming out of my paycheck, and I don't think he would be. I mean, how many people in the NBA do you guys think are like a championship difference? If I get this guy on my team, we're right there. We're in the finals and we got a chance to win the championship. I don't think there's that many, number one. And then number two, I don't think there's that many that are really realistic possibilities to actually get to New York.
Yeah,
Like, there's maybe 5 difference making players that you're like, if I get this guy on my team, we're winning. And all those guys are locked up and not moving.
Right.
Yeah.
Or they're older. I think for me, it would be the older ones, but they're kind of getting out of their prime now. I don't know if they will have that same impact that they once did.
Right.
And like you said, Jay, most of the other guys, their teams are not letting them go. They're not letting them go. They got their bird rights. They're offering them super max deals, super max deals now. And now we got that $300 million contracts coming into play with teams. Boston was just the first team to do it, but other teams are capable of doing it now. And if you go over to the Knicks, you may not get that contract unless you're traded to them because that original team owns your bird rights. So again, admirable of Brunson, great. But me personally, I'm not giving up $100 million. No.
Okay, well, a little bit less. I know to call if I need some money. Okay, well, right. All right, y'all. Let's move on. I want to play a game, y'all. It's a new one. It's kind of like start, bench, cut, but I'm just calling it good, better, best. I'm going to give you 3 people. You tell me which one is good. That's the lowest. Which one is good? Which one is better? And which one is the best? I got 3 football questions, 1 NBA and 1 WNBA. So good, better, best. All right.
Can we put a disclaimer? We don't know these prior.
Nope, you don't know them prior. Starting with some receivers. Okay, Walk, I'll start with you here. I got Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel. Good, better, best. Justin Jefferson, Tyreek Hill, Deebo Samuel.
All right. Good. I'm going to just from a receiver standpoint, I'm going to go Deebo. Okay. So he's good. Because like I mentioned earlier, I think Aiquk is a better receiver. I just think Deebo's a better football player. Mm-hmm. You said better, right? Better's the second one, the middle one. Better, I'm going to go Tyreek Hill. I think I'm not a fan of his route running. I just think that he's so dang fast, so quick, that makes up for his lack of route running. And you got to go with JJ. You got to go with him. He's dynamite. So you go with him there. But watching him, I don't know if you guys watch the receiver. I watch him all the time. But if you guys watch the Netflix series Receiver, just an excellent route runner. I didn't really realize how good. I just thought he was like a quick receiver, fast receiver. But he's an excellent route runner. A matchup problem. So good Deebo, best Tyreek Hill, and better JJ. So
good Deebo, better Tyreek,
and best JJ. I'm sorry,
gotcha. Britt, what you got?
I think I'm with K-Walk with the good, and it just comes down to the route running for me as well. We already know what Deebo is capable of doing on the field when he catches the ball. He's very hard to tackle, extremely hard to tackle. But I just think he can improve with his route running if he decides to. He's getting paid.
He's working his tail off.
All right. Sorry. Okay, good. This is where I kept going back and forth. Because Tyreek has the rings. Or ring? He might have one.
Ring.
I think
right.
Ring. He has a ring.
One, right.
Yeah, he has one. And we know what he could do. He completely opens up your offense. Like everybody else is open. Because of Tyreek Hill, most likely because of his speed, and defenses are scared of his speed. But JJ is young. His route running is incredible. When the head coach or the coordinator schemes him open, it is tough to stop JJ. But I have seen JJ get shut down in games, and he's got shut down in quite a few games over the course of his career. He's still young. So, because of that, I'm going to go good Deebo. Right now, I'm going to go better JJ, and I'm gonna go best Tyreek. But I think by
Okay.
the end of the career, JJ is
It
going to
might be flipped. Okay.
best.
All
Right.
right. Good stuff, Britt. I'm gonna stay with you for the running backs. We got Saquon Barkley.
Mm-hmm.
We got Christian McCaffrey.
Mm-hmm.
And we got the young guy, the young stud in Atlanta, Bijan Robinson. So
Ooh.
Saquon, McCaffrey, and Bijan Robinson. Good, better, best.
I got to figure out which way I want to go here. Do I want to go off of just pure talent, or do I want to go off career numbers? All right. Well, good. I'm going to go with Bijan. Good. I just don't think he's been in the league enough to really tell for me to put him in front of CMC and Saquon. Although I do think he's a generational talent. I think
Okay.
coming up he's going to be he's going to take over. So good. Bijan. Better, best. These are a flip and a back and forth. If I go career, I gotta say better is Saquon.
Okay.
And best is CMC. If I go career and what they have done recently, because what CMC does for the 49ers to me is amazing. I just think Saquon, as talented as he is, he got stuck on the wrong team, unfortunately. They just didn't do anything with him. If I go just pure talent, generational, I'm going to flip the two. I'm going to flip Saquon to best, CMC to better.
Okay.
But because I can only do what you've shown me, I got to put best right now, CMC, better Saquon, good Bijan.
All right. I like it, Britt. I like it. K-Walk, what you got?
Yeah, this is like I'm torn between Barkley and Bijan as far as good and better.
The disrespect.
There's no disrespect. I just got so much respect. I just see what Bijan does for that team, and I didn't realize how much of a great receiver he is out of the backfield.
Yeah.
You know, I know Barkley, he has a little bit more on his resume. I know you gotta factor that in. Bijan, I'm agree with you, Brett. I'm gonna go Bijan as good. I'll go Barkley as better, and CMC is best. I don't care who you put him up against. I just think he's just the best, probably the best football player in the league. And I'm not just saying that because he's a 49er, but just what he's able to do, that running and receiving. So, yeah. So did you get that, Jay? Good, Robinson, better, Barkley, and best CMC.
K-Walk, would that change for you if you were basing it off of how you think they're going to be this year? Would you flip Bijan and Saquon, or would you leave it the same?
Ooh.
If you were projecting their season this year.
Yeah. Because, wow, that's a great question, Jay, because of the fact of the matter is they have Kirk Cousins now. They're scheming. They're going to scheme Kyle Pitts open. Scheme open Kyle Pitts a little bit more. And that's going to open up a lot of things for Bijan. And same thing for Barkley.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's tough.
That is tough, Jay. But I'm going to go with, since we already know what that offense is going to be with Philly. You got Jalen Hurts. I know they have a new offensive coordinator, but just having Jalen Hurts and those two receivers, Smith and AJ Brown, and I know what Jalen Hurts is going to give us, or give the fans, the Eagles fans. I don't know what Kirk Cousins is going to do coming off that Achilles injury. So no, I'll keep it the same based off even guys. I'll keep it the same.
All right, this is probably the most difficult one. Okay, Walk, I'm gonna stay with you here. We got JJ Watt, we got Micah Parsons, and we got Myles Garrett. Good, better, best.
Oh, you
Watt,
dirty dog.
Parsons, and Garrett.
JJ,
not JJ Watt, TJ Watt. Sorry,
I know who you meant. I know
TJ Watt.
I think I know
Micah
who you
Parsons, Myles Garrett. Good, better, best. K Walk, what you got?
Dirty dog. This is a tough one, man.
This is tough.
Wow, Jay, this is definitely all right. All right, I'm gonna go with TJ Watt. TJ Watt's been a little injury prone, not like his brother, but just a little injury prone. So that is tough, man. This is tough, Jay. Hold on. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna stick to this. I'm gonna stick to my guns on this one, ladies. I'm sticking to my guns. All right.
Okay. So
I'm going good, TJ Watt. I'm going good, TJ Watt.
Okay.
I'm going better, Myles Garrett.
Okay.
Really?
and I'm going best Micah. And the reason why I'm going Micah best, because you can move Micah around. Micah can play all over the place on any given defense. You can put him in the middle. You can put him on the edge. You can put him on the outside of the linebacker. So he can run with the best of them tight ends. He can cover. He's the best cover and rusher, QB and rusher as well. So I got to go. I'm sticking with my guns. I just think Myles Garrett is just unblockable. I mean, you have to put two guys on in the still, but TJ, only reason why I put TJ good is because he tends to get hurt a little bit. So that's so I'm sticking with it. I'm not changing it. I'm not coming back.
Good Watt, better Garrett, best Parsons.
Parsons, yes.
Okay, Britt, what you got?
I think for me, I'm gonna go good. I'm looking at my paper, guys. I'm gonna go good. Michael Parsons. Yes, you can move him all around. I don't think he's unblockable. I think he's a suspect when it comes to the run game. Although the pass rushing abilities is fantastic. And yes, I would absolutely love to have Michael Parsons on my team. Just let me just make that clear, okay? But no, good Michael Parsons. Oh, this one's hard. Better. I think I'm gonna go. Oh, geez. I think I'm gonna go Myles Garrett for better. K-Walks, and I'm still not certain about that one, but I think I'm gonna go better Myles Garrett. He is completely unblockable. You know, he created false starts for offensive team. They can't do nothing but hold them. Shoot, his athleticism is out of this world. He blocked that punt or that field goal. I just think as a I think he's a better pass rusher than Myles Garrett. I mean, than Michael Parsons. But on the one side, he only works on the one side.
Right. That's why
I just think right. I think best. I don't know TJ Watt. I know he's injury prone, unfortunately, but he's just such a huge difference maker for that Steelers defense. There's a reason why he was Defensive Player of the Year and almost won a second one if you didn't get hurt. I just think he's that TJ Watt. If out of these guys, if I could have TJ Watt and he was fully healthy, I'm going with TJ Watt. I don't care what side you put him on. I don't care if he plays one side, two sides, three sides. To me, he's just a crazy difference maker. It's just the injury thing.
Okay. We're all different on this one. I would have went Parsons good, Watt better, Garrett best. That's how I would have did it.
Okay.
And K-Walk, I think your point about Parsons is a good one, like the moving around. I just think that sometimes there's in the past, there's been a stretch of games where he kind of disappears for a while. And I remember I don't know if it was last year or the year before, where he went on like a 8-game, like no sacks. It's almost like he just kind of disappeared for a while. But
he started running at him.
Obviously, when you're talking about these three guys, they're all great players.
Yeah, I can't agree. I can't argue with any of them here. Nah, absolutely not.
Okay, well, I think I'm gonna start with you on this one, only because I think Britt might need more time to think about this one. This is jumping over to the WNBA. Good, better, best. K-Walk. Rickea Jackson, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. Good, better, best. Rickea Jackson, Angel Reese, Caitlin Clark. Good, better, best.
Wow. Okay.
Britt, you good on this one? You don't need time to think? I thought Rickea might throw you off a little. You look like you're like, nah, this one's easy.
Because I'm going off of talent. I'm going off of pure talent.
All right, go ahead, K-Walk.
All right. Just watched Rickea play today. So
Rickea's been really good the last 3 games.
I'm looking at this. All right. I'm going to go good. Yeah, my God. You know what? Because I have to stay consistent with this Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark.
Don't get yourself hurt, K-Walk.
Oh, no, Britt. I don't know who I'm going to get hurt by. I don't know whoever I say good is probably the only one I'm going to.
That's what I'm saying. Don't have your girl hurt you now. I'm just playing.
Yeah, I know, right? All right, I'm gonna stay consistent here, ladies and gentlemen. So I'm gonna go good. Dang, Caitlin Clark. I'm gonna go better. Dang, I love her so much, but it's hard for me not. I'm gonna go better. Angel Reese. And I'm gonna go best Rickea Jackson, man. I
Wow.
just think right now Rickea is playing
Wow.
really good basketball, underrated basketball. I have to stay consistent with Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark because right now it changes day to day, ladies and gentlemen, between the rookie of the year race. So right now I have Angel in front of Caitlin Clark. Actually, no, I'm lying. I changed that the other day because of the 29-point performance Caitlin had. I know Angel plays tonight. So, you know what? Let me change that. I'm going to go Angel good. Damn, she don't hurt me, baby. Caitlin better. Caitlin better and Rickea best.
Okay.
Best.
All right. That's a good start. I thought this would be an interesting one. All right, Britt, what you got?
For me, although I know I've been saying Angel Reese has been the rookie of the year, but I think just as far as pure talent, overall basketball talent, she has it on the defensive side by far. I just think she needs more work offensively. She's still my rookie of the year. I think might change, but I gotta go with good Angel Reese. As talented as she is, to me, she still has to develop. I just said it, her offensive game. Better Caitlin Clark, incredible shooter, best shooter in the draft. We said it 1,000 times. Pure playmaker. Her IQ to me on the offensive side is incredible.
Yeah.
Just me really watching her. Now she's starting to really adapt to the WNBA. She's starting to get in tune with it. And then best talent wise, Rickea Jackson by far, guys. Two-way player, could score, could do some playmaking, could shoot the ball well. She plays tough, hard-nosed defense, and they play defense in the WNBA. Maybe not in the NBA, K-Walk, but definitely in the WNBA.
For sure.
I just think, to me, coming out the draft, she was the best pure basketball talent on both sides of the ball. So to me, best Rickea Jackson by far.
Yeah, I would agree that I would put Angel as good. To your point, Britt, I think that offensively around the rim, she's got to clean some of that stuff up. I think you're right. Like, Britt, I would not be surprised at all, like, if in 3-4 years, Rickea Jackson was like a 25 a game scorer. Like, I think offensively she's that talented. But just going off of right now, not necessarily projecting forward, I think I would put Rickea as better and Clark as best, only because I just think the playmaking of Clark, like, she runs the entire offense for the Fever on every single possession. And if she doesn't score, she's the reason why someone else scores. So that's why I think I would give her the edge right now. But I agree with you, Britt. I would not be surprised at all if 3-4 years down the road, like, Rickea Jackson was an absolute star, because I think she had 22 the other night. I think she followed it up today with like 16 or 18 more. Like, she's
16,
been really, really, really good the last few games.
Right.
So it's only going to be better for her.
I think for me, and I went from I guess more of a talent standpoint, not exactly what they've done so far in the WNBA. If you go with what they've done so far in the WNBA, yes, then Caitlin Clark to me would be best. But that's all Caitlin Clark can give you is that offensive playmaking. Rickea Jackson, to me, she got handles on both left and right. She can go both ways. I think Caitlin Clark, she's getting better with that right, but she still struggles at times, especially with those turnovers that she's still committing to this day. And if that's the case, we're talking consistency. Angel Reese has been the most consistent out of everybody. Then Caitlin Clark got going, but now it's Rickea Jackson's time to really get going. I think pure talent-wise, she's the best.
Yeah, and she's got a lot of versatility too. Like, they play her at the 3, they play her at the 4 sometimes. She's 6'3". Like, she's just really, really, like, she's talented for sure. All right, good stuff, y'all. I think I'm gonna stop there. Let's talk, because the WNBA All-Star Game is this weekend. And obviously, there's been so much talk about Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese, back and forth, your rookie of the year, just drama, whatever. You know how the fans are. But for once, we're going to get to see these two on the same team this All-Star weekend. What do you guys think about the All-Star game? Do you think, because it's going to be the All-Stars versus the Olympic team, that's the way they have it set up this year. K-Walk, I know it's an All-Star game. I'm hoping they actually play basketball and don't just go out there and run up and down the court like the NBA guys do it. So assuming we're going to get a basketball game, K-Walk, who do you think wins this thing?
Well, I think you got to go with the the USA basketball team. I mean, they're the team for a reason because they're the best in the country, best in the world. Forget the little country, the world. So you got to go with them. They're the vets. They have the most experience, the most talented, however you want to break it down. But I really think that we're going to see a competitive all-star game because I think that, we mentioned Caitlin Clark and we mentioned Angel Reese as far as the Rookie of the Year race. We want to see these young ladies go at it. And they have a lot to prove, not just, playing against one another, but playing with one another as well.
Yeah.
I think they're going to show that they can get along. They're going to say, it's just you guys, it's the media, it's some of you fans out there that are creating the narrative that we don't like one another and we can't get along. And I think I think Caitlin Clark is going to show that they can get along on the court. I think she's going to try to feed her as much as she possibly can, and vice versa. We're going to see some kickouts from Angel Reese to Caitlin Clark as well. And they're going to come out and they're going to be aggressive and they're going to want to prove to not just the rest of the league, but to the world that they can play with with the best of them. So I think we definitely will see a competitive game without question.
Yeah, I hope so, man. I don't want to see them just running up and down the court.
I don't think we're going to see that. I don't think these women got too much pride.
They did this format in 2021, like the COVID year when they had to push the Olympics back a year.
Yeah.
And the All-Stars actually beat the Olympic team 93 to 85. So there's hope that maybe they can pull this thing off again. But Britt, what do you think? How's it going to go on? I think it's Saturday night. What do you think?
Were a lot of those all-stars now on the Olympic team? That's the question you got to ask, right?
That is a great question, and I don't know the answer to it.
I will have to look back. I don't remember. So, I mean, but you got Asia Wilson, Brittany Griner. I think Kelsey Plum.
Kelsey Plum, yeah.
Brianna Stewart.
Jackie Young. I mean, they're loaded.
They're loaded. Yeah.
This US team is loaded, and I understand what these young ladies can bring to the All-Star game, but I gotta go with the US team, and I think it will be competitive as well. And the reason why I think there's going to be competitive, prime example, dollars. Is this a bonus that they're getting for playing in this game? They don't make millions of dollars like the NBA, so they need these dollars. So it's going to be competitive.
Yeah, and I also think too, like just for like the growth of the league, like you got all this popularity right now, you got a lot of new eyeballs on the game. It's really an opportunity to come out and play and put on a good show, play basketball, and continue to keep that fan interest going. So hopefully,
without question,
that's what we'll see. K-Walk, if Caitlin Clark is in the 3-point contest, is she your favorite to win it, or you got somebody else?
Ooh, man, that's gonna be a good one, man. Because I got my girl Sabrina in there. She's in there. I didn't see the competition list, but I'm assuming she's going to be.
Yeah, I haven't seen
the defender title.
I would imagine that they're.
I would imagine. Yeah, and what? Yeah. And yeah, so Nescu. Oh wow, Jay. I think you have to put Caitlin Clark as a favorite, but I'm going with my girl. She's in there. I'm pretty sure she is. Sabrina. Sabrina's going to. She's got a lot to prove. She's not going to let this rookie show her up. So yeah, regardless of her name and.
I'm sorry. Was Sabrina the one that went up against Steph?
Yeah,
Steph. Yes, and almost beat him. Yeah.
Because
he exactly right.
Beat him. Like
that's what I'm saying.
I would go with Sabrina as well. As good of a shooter as we've seen Clark be, like she hasn't shot it that great this year, to be honest. Like she's been kind of streaky at times. Now, obviously, if she gets hot, who knows? But I think Sabrina right now is probably the more consistent shooter. So I'd probably go with Sabrina as well. All right, y'all. We're working overtime here. Do you guys have rants ready to go, or y'all want to wrap this thing up?
We got one more topic we got to get to.
What we got?
NFL. The NFL
the quarterback thing. Yeah, I got it right here. All right, so guys, K-Walk, where did that come from? Do you remember the publication that put that out?
It was ESPN. ESPN put it out. It says, it was the NFL execs. That was their list. That's their list.
NFL execs put out their top 10 quarterback lists for this year. I'm gonna read you guys the list, and then just tell me if you like it, if there's anything you would change about it, if there's anyone that's not on it that should be, if there's someone too high, someone too low, just kind of give me the rundown on the list. So number 1, we had Patrick Mahomes. At 2, Joe Burrow. 3, Josh Allen. 4, Lamar Jackson. 5, Matthew Stafford. 6, Justin Herbert. 7 was CJ Stroud. 8, Aaron Rodgers. 9, Jared Goff.
Yeah. And
Dak Prescott made it into the top 10 as well. He was number 10, Dak Prescott. K-Walk, give me your thoughts on the list. Any issues with it? Who's too high? Who's too low? What? Give me your thoughts.
Big issues here, man. I agree with all but 3 here.
Okay.
I do. Now I'll keep that. I'm not going to put them in any particular order. I think you keep Mahomes at number 1. There's an argument for 2, 3 with me as far as Burrows and Josh Allen. You can flip-flop those guys. I know Burrow was hurt for the majority of the year, but I don't have no problem with that. You can even throw Lamar in there in the top 3. There's arguments as far as where they should be. That's about it. But I know we're pressed for time, so I'm not going to argue as far as what each guy should be. I'm just going to argue certain guys who are in this. So with that being said, the first guy that I have a problem with is Justin Herbert.
Okay.
I think Justin Herbert, I don't know why he's in here. I get that they may be looking at the upside, but when you look at last year, I mean, he has some decent numbers, but I don't think that you could put him ahead of. I'm going to go with my guy, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to go with Brock Purdy. I think Brock Purdy should be here.
Okay.
CJ Stroud, I know he had a heck of a rookie season last year. I get that, but I think Tua Tagovailoa deserves this particular spot, in my opinion. He's up for an extension here, or up for an extension. Big payday. I think he's proven that he's one of the top 10 quarterbacks. What was 8? 8 is Aaron Rodgers. I don't have a problem with that. It's Aaron Rodgers. We know that he was hurt last year. He's coming back. He has some weapons there. He has a lot to prove. He stays healthy. I think, you get a glimpse of him. The Jets are going to make some noise. So I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with Jared Goff either. I think Jared Goff at 9 is okay there, or in the top 10 again. We could argue about what order we could put in, but again, I have no problem with Jared Goff being at in the top 10. Now 10, I do have a problem with this. Number 10 is Dak Prescott. I do,
right?
Too high for Dak Prescott. Too high for Dak Prescott
Really?
here, man. Absolutely, man. I would go. And you know what? And I would go Jalen Hurts here, man. I would put Jalen Hurts before Dak Prescott, because of the fact of the matter is, I just think that I don't know what happened there. I'm glad it did happen, because I'm not an Eagles fan, ladies and gentlemen. But I don't know what happened, where the disconnect came from with Jalen Hurts and that offensive coordinator, whatever the case may be. But I would go Jalen Hurts over Dak Prescott. I really would. I put Dak at 11. I would put Dak at 11. He's teetering in the top 10, but I wouldn't put him above Jalen Hurts. So that's where so the only problem, I'll take Justin Herbert out. Put Brock Purdy in. CJ Stroud I'll take out. Put Tua Tagovailoa, and Dak take out, and I put in Jalen Hurts.
All right, good stuff. Well, I was genuinely thought you were going to move Dak up. That's
no, like I said, we didn't have time to
I thought Dak was moving up, man. Britt, any thoughts on this? Who's too high? Who's too low? Is just right? What do you think?
No, I'm basically the first 4 I'm pretty much okay with. 1, Mahomes. I think I will probably go 2, Allen for me, and then 3, Burrows. I think mainly because Burrows, he just stay hurt. He play. I need you to, but he has shown us something in his short career, and he's very talented. 4, I'm cool if that's Jackson, or if you want to put him in 3, whatever. So that's fine there. I just need him to perform better in the playoffs. Lamar Jackson, if you hear me, LJ, step it up in the playoffs. Don't be a regular season quarterback. I'm moving Stafford down. I'm sorry. I'm moving Stafford down. Look, I understand he won the Super Bowl, 3 years so ago, or however long ago that was. I just haven't seen much of him lately. And, I'm moving him down. In his place, I'm going to put Rodgers there. I think from his resume, and I agree with K-Walk, he was hurt last year. I think if he was playing, we're talking about the Jets in a different light. I think they're more of a playoff bound team, and I think they get a little bit further. I'm with you, K Walk. I'm taking Justin Herbert off. And y'all know I'm a Justin Herbert guy, but he has not accomplished anything. He has not gotten anywhere, and he stays on the injury report. So what have you shown me? You haven't shown me anything. We're just going off of right now. We're just going off of what we think your ceiling is, and you've been in the league long enough. It's funny how he hides from the criticism versus all the other guys. Jalen Hurts, Dak Prescott, Brock Purdy, and they showed me a lot more. CJ Stroud, incredible 1 year. I think I'm not gonna take him off. I'm gonna just move him further down on the list. I'll put Goff ahead of CJ Stroud. So I'll lift up Goff because I do like his game. I think he was underrated when he was with the Rams. I'm with you. I think Brock Purdy should go on this list. I think Jalen Hurts should go on this list. I'm not putting Tua on the list. I actually have him at 11. I have Prescott after that. After Tua.
Wow. 12.
And then Justin Herbert. Then Justin Herbert goes after that.
Wow.
So
you put in Brock. Who'd you put in? Brock, Jalen, and who else? Because you took out oh no, you kept Stroud in. Never mind. Forget.
I kept Stroud in.
Okay.
I kept Stroud in. I put in Brock. I put in Jalen. First of all, those two young guys have showed me so much more in a shorter span. They both made it to the Super Bowl. Both NFC champions. Both. I think they have an MVP for NFC champions, don't they? I think. I know Jalen was the NFC champ. Did they have an MVP? Whatever. They both won an NFC champion. Jalen Hurts, if they would have won the Super Bowl, would have been Super Bowl MVP. Brock Purdy, I feel similar in a way. I think it might have went to CMC. I think it would have went to CMC.
It would have went to Jawan Jennings because he threw a touchdown and he caught a touchdown. he would have got that.
Yeah, but I think CMC.
He would have got
But I get what you're saying.
But anyway,
But anyway, Dak Prescott, granted, numbers are great in a regular season, but what do you do for me in a playoffs when it's winning time? You don't do anything for me. I'm sorry. No disrespect to him. I already said what I felt about Justin Herbert, and I think that was it. And CJ Stroud in 1 year showed me way more than the other two guys I just mentioned.
Yeah, for me, like, because K-Walk, they were projecting like for this, like the top 10 quarterbacks, how they're going to play like this coming year, right? So
I got you.
I wouldn't take CJ Stroud off because to me, there's nothing that he showed me last year that I don't think he can duplicate again this year.
Right. Absolutely not.
And he was absolutely one of the 10 best quarterbacks in football last year, I think. So for me, he stays. He only threw 5 interceptions all year. Purdy threw 11, Tua threw 14, Hurts threw 15. So for me, those guys can't bump CJ Stroud off the list.
What? You mean tell you what? Purdy not the bumping CJ?
I wouldn't. Like, do you think Purdy had a better year than CJ last year?
Absolutely. Yeah.
I don't.
Where he got.
Yeah, he got to the Super Bowl, but he's playing on a lot better football team.
Look at his numbers, though. Where is he at? Other than the interceptions, look where he's at.
He was
top 4. He was top 4, and he didn't even play. And he didn't play the last season, the regular season game.
For me, I don't think it's that big of. I mean, he threw for 5,600 yards last year.
That put him at 3rd or 4th, I think.
I don't know.
Oh, yeah, I thought you had to listen.
Yeah, I mean, CJ only threw for 4,100, so he threw for significantly more yards. Absolutely. But I do think you have to factor in weapons, team. Like you got to factor all that in. Like
I will say this.
You think if CJ Stroud was the quarterback of the 49ers, he couldn't have produced similar numbers?
I don't know.
I think he could. I definitely think he could.
I'll say this.
But that's not okay. So
Brock Purdy is on my list, but I'm not putting him above CJ neither. It's CJ. He just got it for me. I'm not even putting.
So what does Brock? So what is Brock? So I don't understand. Like, so what did CJ do that Brock didn't do? Other than having weapons around him.
I'm not saying Brock couldn't be on the list. I'm saying I wouldn't take CJ off to put him on. Like, if you want to take Justin Herbert off and slide him in, I'd even take Rodgers off, because if I'm projecting Rodgers this year, coming off 40 years old, coming off an Achilles, I don't necessarily think he's going to play great. that's just me. Like, so I would be okay taking him off the list. But
Let me ask you this: is Brock in your top 10 though? Is Brock in your top 10?
I would put Brock in my top 10,
yes.
but I would take Herbert out and put Brock in. I wouldn't take CJ out because I think CJ, like if we're even if we're saying last year, okay, well, do you think CJ was a top 10 quarterback last year? I mean, I know that's hard.
Based off of
I know that's hard.
Yeah,
to
I
do
mean,
off the top of your head.
No. I'm thinking. Yeah, I think you could put him there. He's teetering. He's on borderline. So I wouldn't be mad if you put him in there. I think I think you have to say, especially the way he played in the playoffs. I guess
and I feel like if we're saying like, do y'all agree? Would you guys have CJ ahead of Dak? Like we agree with that CJ's ahead of Dak?
I didn't, but looking at it now, I would put him there. I'm just peeking over my list. But
here's my question:
I didn't arrange him.
Was this list based off what we've seen or projecting in the future?
Projecting for this coming season.
Okay, if we're projecting it for this coming season with the moves that team did on how, not quite based off what they did last year, but kind of based off what they did last year. Yes, I'm putting CJ ahead of Dak. I just think his talent is undeniable, and I just think he's going to reach that next. He's going to get to that next level next year. Yeah, remember, I was the only one that had them winning the division.
I think he's really, really good. Like I do. I think he's really, really good. So I don't care where he is in the top 10. I think he deserves to be in the top 10. I think he deserves to be in the top 10. Tua, I can't remember which one of you guys made the case for Tua. I don't know, man. I think he's all right. Like to me, he's is Tua better than Dak? Like, are we 100% sure that Tua is a better quarterback than Dak Prescott? Tua threw 14 interceptions last year. He's got an injury history. He gets a little loose with the ball. I mean, is he really? Like, are we 100% convinced that he's a better quarterback than Dak Prescott?
You know what, Jay, you might be right. I think I may have Dak ahead of Tua on my list, but neither one of them was in my top 10, so they're still not in my top 10.
I have Tua.
You got Tua in your top 10.
I do have top 10. Yeah. I do. I do. Obviously, I put him there, so I'm going to stay with it. Yeah. So yeah, I do.
Stand on business, K. Walker.
Right. SOB as the kids say.
And he's. I mean, I'm not. I mean, obviously, all these guys are good. I just, you're splitting hairs when you're getting down to it. But I don't know. I don't know. I think I'd probably take Dak over Tua. I
think I would, based off. I will say I would take, because you made some sometimes when I watch Tua play, I just cringe at times with just decision making. You got two fantastic offense, and you're right, K-Walk. You're right. Dak does do the same thing, but I don't know, something about Tua that just. I'm not a huge fan of Tua's that much to me.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I
think that's what it is.
I know that's what it is.
I'm not a believer. Like, I don't believe he can. Yeah, I don't know. It's close.
Different
that's why it's our personal list.
Yeah, you're right. Let's revisit. Can we revisit this? Because I want to do a little better. I want to do some more homework.
We should dig back into it.
Put a pin in that. Let's put a pin in that.
Why don't we do this next week? Let's come with our top 10 numbered. They gotta be in a spot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
You gotta assign everybody a number, and then that way maybe we can get into it a little bit more about who should be on and who should be off.
Camp's right around the corner.
Yeah. All right, y'all. We gotta get out of here. It's getting late. I get napped today, so I'm gonna be shutting it down a little early tonight.
Hey, did you just say that though?
I did, Britt. I did. You gotta learn to take a little nap every day, Britt. It goes a really long way. Just a little 30-minute nap every day. You'd be surprised what it can do.
I got something to say real quick. So all them people, trying to be nice here, to all them people who don't give anybody else credit for the ratings or for the sellouts in arenas and all that stuff. They just think it's just one person. Well, Angel Reese came out and said, and they called her crazy for it. Well, I sell seats too. Well, apparently she does, and she wasn't lying because she set records in Liberty at the Barclays Center. There was a complete sellout in New York.
Not a seat in the house. Not an empty seat.
Not one seat. Over 17,000 was 17,000, almost 18,000, something like that. Whatever that max sellout is. Now, one available seat. So the media out there, make sure, like I said, equal opportunity. Make sure you're telling the whole picture versus just one player is having sellouts all over the place. Tell the honest truth. It's not just one player. It's more than one player. Sorry, I had to get that off my chest.
No, that's fine, Britt. And let me piggyback off a little bit. My bad. That's my bad. Maybe I didn't do it good because I tell you what, when we were in the building when the Sky scored, I forget who it was that they scored. You hear this, but when Angel Reese scored, you heard.
Yeah,
it was a difference. They were there to see Angel Reese. They weren't there to see the Chicago Sky, ladies and gentlemen. I can attest to that. I was in the building.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
Absolutely good stuff, there, Britt.
All right, y'all. Let's get out of here. K-Walk, let the people know where to find you and if there's anything you're looking forward to.
Appreciate you, Greg, for sure.
Yeah, Greg.
Yes,
appreciate you staying the whole time.
Yeah,
bro.
man, the whole time, bro. Appreciate you, brother, for sure. Yeah, you can catch me on Facebook, Kevin Walker, Instagram, Kevin.Walker142, X. You can catch me at Kevin Walker142 as well. Tomorrow night, you can catch me on Sports Talk with K Walk and E Scott, wherever you get your podcast, ladies and gentlemen. Check that out. Going to have a great one for you dialed up for tomorrow. Again, Sports Talk K Walk. E. Scott as well. Never had it so good sports radio, 7 p.m. on Wednesdays. Check that out, ladies and gentlemen, without question. What I'm looking forward, I mean, there's no baseball right now. The All-Star game is tied up. It's looking like a real good one. Just looking for some basketball, WNBA. Camps are right around the corner. NFL camps are right around the corner. So definitely looking forward to that, guys.
All right, good stuff, K-Walk. You guys can find me at Jason Talk Sports on TikTok, Instagram, and X. At Jason Talk Sports. I know I said I need to go to bed, but I think we got a good WNBA game tonight. I think we got the Vegas
Sky.
Aces against the Sky at 10 o'clock tonight on Prime. So I'm actually going to stay up and watch that one tonight.
Nah, you got 30 minutes. Take that 30-minute nap you were talking about, bro.
You know what? If I can pull it off, I might try it. But I'm going to stay up and watch that tonight. So that's what I'm looking forward to.
Tell the age without telling your age. Yeah,
I know, right? Hey, it works, man. It works.
You guys can find me on Instagram and Twitter, aka X, at Brittany Monique. It's right there on my screen. And what I'm looking forward to, K-Walk just alluded to it. NFL training camp starts next week. 1 week from today. That's when NFL training camp starts. Olympics is coming very soon, so I'm excited to see all track and field. And of course, basketball has started already with the kind of like the preseason games. Expedition games or whatever they call it. And the rest of the baseball season is what I'm looking forward to. But that's about it for right now.
All right, good stuff. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. We appreciate you guys. Do us a favor, hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and come back next week. We'll be here live at 7 p.m. So for Brittany Jones and Kevin Walker, I'm Jason Collins. We'll see you guys next week.